Okay, we'll start the meeting that was posted for October 11th at 7 PM to go over town meeting articles and some discussion on Countryside and some of the subcommittee reports. First thing we'll start is with approval of the minutes. We skipped June 21st. Does anybody have a motion on June 21st?
What does it say?
I was here. So
the minutes.
motion to accept, I was here.
I was here. Motion to accept?
Okay, motion, any discussion?
Second.
These were circulated, we just never voted on them.
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Approved.
Who seconded it?
Grant. September 13th.
Motion.
Who
Second.
was here?
I have a motion to amend.
Okay.
I'd like to add an insertion about the report that I gave of the June 23 Countryside Subcommittee meeting, where it was voted unanimously in subcommittee to recommend a sale or other disposition of Countryside, and to recommend to the full committee that any further financing requests by Countryside be voted upon unfavorably.
Does anybody disagree from that subcommittee?
Nope.
Does everybody on the subcommittee agree?
Yep.
Do, that's what we talked about.
Okay, then we have a motion to insert that into the minutes,
Second.
and Lauren seconded it. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passed. Okay,
Who made the motion? Who made the
we're going to start
Andy made the
with,
motion, Warren.
under the subcommittee reports, we're going to start with the articles from the police and IT. So Robbie, first of all, official congratulations.
Thank you,
Do we
sir.
have to call you sir now?
Better than the other names we call them.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah.
You know I love you, just
Yeah,
come on.
anything is good.
No. Congratulations, we look
Thank you.
forward to many years of working together.
Hopefully not too many, but thank you.
Okay. The first article is Article 3, traffic surveillance.
Robbie, can you just move
Sit
up,
front? Yep.
move one seat forward, just for the record?
And there's $150,000, and it would help, I believe, a lot of people if you explained what
Yeah.
traffic surveillance
Yeah,
is.
so we call it traffic surveillance, and, right, that has a lot of undertones a lot of sneaky undertones in it, and that's really not the case. What we have a hard time with here in Milford is we have a lot of hit and run. And if anybody's ever been a victim of hit and run, believe it or not, we go knocking door to door and we look for ring video, personal video, cell phone video, anything we can try to match this up. Because as you all know, even if it's a minor hit and run, you're getting hit with a deductible, okay? And I don't think I'm stating this enough. The number of hit and runs that we have in Milford, especially at intersections. And again, these aren't these dramatic accidents that you see where traffic shut down, most of the time. It's the side swipe, and there's enough damage to your car to get it into the thousands, and we have no way of tracking this down unless someone got a plate, unless there is ring video. So it kind of puts us behind the eight ball. The other thing that is an endeavor we want to do is when there are crimes committed through town, you access these cameras and it'll show you traffic movement. Okay? The Milford Police in the summer took 4 illegal guns off of people in a matter of 8 days. 4 illegal guns, ghost guns, here in Milford. And they used a ring video to track somebody's movement. They were lucky enough. And it's a benefit to us to monitor these intersections and to have direct link into our comm center with the traffic. It also enables us to be ahead of the curve in accessing traffic data and applying for grants to improve intersections. You know, I laugh every time someone says, you know, traffic can't be that bad in Milford. When I talk to my friends in New York City, I said, I would rather drive over the Brooklyn Bridge, because I worked in New York for a long time, any day of the week, rather than go to the other side of town at 4 o'clock in Milford and try to come back. That's a true statement. Traffic moves better over the Brooklyn Bridge. So this would give us the ability to put us kind of in touch with our traffic patterns, and there are grants out there, but a lot of the grants that we can apply for are building blocks on top of an existing system, and that's what I'm looking to do here. You know, have something fundamentally is, basically when you write grants, that, you know, they come to you and say, okay, well, what are you doing now at your level for this? Before we commit, what's your plan at your level? What have you done? Well, this would give me a leg up in doing that and expand this. And I think that to have the ability to record our traffic flow, it not only helps with you know, the accidents and tracking crime, but missing persons. Huge for missing persons. Obviously huge for any Amber Alert situations, people who, you know, shouldn't be where they are, whether it be because of restraining order violation. I mean, we spend so much time going through the court process arguing at accidents. No, the light was green. Everybody's light is green at an accident. You know, in my, you know, 20-plus years, everybody's light is green. I had the right of way. He or she waved me on, and this would eliminate all that. So that's why I came up with this.
The 150, is that for equipment? Is it for labor,
Yes.
accommodation?
Yes.
What's the split?
It's so what they call these things. What they call them is they call them flocks. There's a flock camera system. Our detectives have used them in with the Framingham Police, and there's not a lot of setup. It's more what it costs. You know, each camera is in the avenue of like $5,000 to $10,000 depending on what you get, and then you got to have the IT capability to record, store, you know, and access. So that's where that all comes into play.
Out of the 150,000, is it 50 grand for hardware and 100 for personnel, or vice versa? Or?
I would say it's probably more like 75. I know that seems pretty an easy answer, but I'm not the IT guy. Yes,
Can you
ma'am.
be more clear about where these cameras are going to be?
Sure. We want to start off with the major intersections, okay? Major intersections down on 109, 2, coming up this way with that traffic pattern. And again, and I should have said this, we're not looking to write tickets to people. We're not looking to give people infractions for going through red lights. That's not what this is, okay? This is more of a monitoring system than it is a, you know, enforcement, you know?
This is like step one. I hear the word building blocks.
Yeah.
This is-
So this is step one, right? And my hope is to build on it to get these through every intersection in town at some point.
Michael, you had your hand
Will
up.
this include at some point license plate reading technology
We already have license plate reading.
at these locations that you?
No, we have them, so our license plate reading technology, we use on a police vehicle, and it will drive and it'll read plates automatically.
No fixed location?
No, we don't have fixed
Planning that.
locations. That's not really part of this system. Certainly, and it's interesting you bring that up, that would be a grant system that could, you know, tag on to this and build upon this. This is something I'm really looking to build upon. Yes, ma'am.
Sorry, I just wanted to follow up what I was talking about before. So are any of these cameras going to be in residential areas at all?
Residential intersections, I'd like to, yes, absolutely, like Fountain, Congress.
Okay, so here's my bigger concern.
Sure.
How is this not warrantless searches?
How is it not warrantless searches? Well, I mean, you know as well as I do, Counsel, the Supreme Court has ruled on this, that anytime a motor vehicle is out in public, it is subject to be run. Its tags are in public view. There is no expectation of privacy when there's a vehicle on the
No
road.
expectation of privacy, but I do believe that the Supreme Court rejected first, Jerry might know more than I do, I think it was U.S. versus Moore. Basically, it's unclear whether or not it's constitutional. I know the ACLU wrote a big brief on it. I know that it was a Massachusetts case, came up. So what I'm worried about is we're going to spend all this money and it's going to turn out to be a waste of money.
I don't know of this ever being contested and being intrusive and, infringing on a Fourth Amendment right. The rules of motor vehicles are pretty well established in the Commonwealth and at the Supreme Court level.
I'm thinking about people in their homes.
They're not going to be directed at homes, they'll be directed at intersections.
Mr. Chairman, I'm sorry. I have two questions. One is, has this been based on Attorney Whitman's, I'm sorry if I get your last name wrong. Question, is this being run through our legal counsel?
Everything I do, believe it or not. is-
Okay. Then my other question is, when you say personnel people, is that people going on your payroll?
I don't mean people. What
People, like, half was people, half was equipment, right?
No, he's talking about installation and stuff like that. There is no person that's going to be hired to run this system. It's a system
Okay,
that's
'cause
integrated. It's a computer system.
Okay, because the info says blinking lights and people to assist with traffic control. So that's not like people.
that's a
out-
mistake.
That's a mistake? All right, that was my question.
There's
So
nobody hired to run this system.
the 75 grand on personnel is installation.
It's installation.
Okay, that was unclear.
Equipment and installation.
It's right, exactly, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know I had to do Amendment 2, like Article 2 or something like that, right?
Hold on, Paul?
No, I'm just going to ask, how many towns in Massachusetts have it if it's a legal issue? Are there already 10 towns?
There's way more than 10 towns.
I would just,
Yeah. I don't have the list. I'd be, if I started naming them off.
You mentioned Framingham.
Well, Framingham does, you're right. Framingham's one.
Chris?
Mr. Chairman, I just want to just comment, great question on that about, because trust me, I hate Big Brother more than anyone else, so I love the question. What I love more than that is that we now have a police chief that has moved us into the 21st century.
Trying.
It's been 30 years since anyone would even think about doing this. Robbie, this is the type of stuff, keep bringing it. Like I said, I'm not a big fan of the Big Brother, but keep bringing it, and I'll vote it down if I don't like it. But this is the type of stuff, Robbie, that you're bringing to the table.
I appreciate that.
And let me tell you, I'm in favor of this, to the point of the counselor. I agree with you. I don't want anyone watching me going in and out of my driveway. But Robbie, we've been lacking of this for
We
30,
have.
40 years.
We're behind the 8 ball in
And
many ways.
you are the man to now do this. And I understand it's a big burden on your shoulders, but I'm telling you right now that this is the type of stuff that I dig seeing coming out of
Jerry?
the police department.
I ditto what Mr. Moran said. I'm very pleased to see this happen, and I would move favorable for the 150,000.
Should we have a second? Carly, second? Any other discussion? If not, all in favor? Any opposed? Unanimous.
No,
I feel like I need more
I didn't see your
information, so
hand.
no.
Make a note that Lauren is opposed.
Mr. Chairman, one abstain. I was not here for the discussion, so I'm going to abstain.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, if we go to 23. Carpet tiles at the police station.
This isn't one of the articles that I put forward. This was put forward by the
that's
select
going to
board.
be under the select board.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. I thought that was under you.
No?
Okay.
Okay, thank
Police lockers, number 34.
That one is me. This was a project that we actually looked at some time ago when I was deputy chief, and earlier tonight,
Oh, it's now 35.
34, 39.
35.
that's probably why I don't have it.
I read off the old warrant, not the new one. Go, Bob.
okay, so this was something that was actually put on, capital planning that we put off, and it was actually interesting. Somebody, we were talking before here, and someone said the old high school lockers. Well, that's what we have in the police station. The police station is over 20 years old, and it was out of fiscal prudence that we put this off. But the problem that we have, that we're faced with, is securing guns and ammo. We can't do that with these current lockers. Officers either have to take their firearm home, For me, that's okay. I'm a single guy. I don't have children or anybody at home with me. My weapon comes home with me and gets secured in my safe, or it's on my person. If I had a small child, I wouldn't want my weapon in my house. It's just easier that way. It's safer. The officers do not have the capability of securing their firearms in the lockers that are currently there or securing ammo, and that's not to anybody's fault. When this station was built and these lockers were put in, they put in high school lockers, those thin little high school lockers. That's what they did. And that was the accepted practice all, across the Commonwealth, and I'm sure across the country. But the lockers now, half of them don't close, just like the high school lockers, right? You were lucky to get one that closed all the way and that the lock worked. And so a lot of our lockers are in disrepair. The quote that I have and that we submitted will encompass demolition, removal, putting in these new high-grade steel lockers that not only lock on the outside, have the independent lock in the inside, which secures guns and ammo. And we're just in a bad way with not being able to have a place outside the officer's home to secure their firearms and the rest of their gear. So we put this off last time, and now we're bringing it forward to you now.
How much?
Michael, it's 465,000.
How much?
465.
He may have answered what my question was going to be. What were we getting for $75,000? But you pretty well described the lockers themselves. That's what we're getting for that money.
465.
6.5.
$500,000.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's demolition. They're rewiring. There's a new floor. And it's 3 locker rooms. You have female lockers, male lockers. There's not just one locker room.
$465,000? U.S. dollars?
There were less this year than there were last year.
Carly,
Does it get you, is it a 1-to-1 ratio with your entire staff, or do they have to share? Like, do you have enough, basically? Does this?
Oh, yeah,
give you enough?
so we will have enough. We will have enough lockers. It's, when we were down there putting this together, it was interesting. It's like, well, we can't count that one because that hasn't worked in 10 years. It's missing doors. It's missing this. It's missing that. My biggest fear is I really try not to bring things here before this board. These are things that keep me up at night. And that's why, I got this proposal that year and a half, 2 years ago, and it's just something that really puts us in a bad way at the station.
David.
So, I'm sorry, so you have one proposal from 2 years ago? Almost 2 years ago?
We have one contractor that's...
So this cost is going to go up just if...
So, no, we already made the adjustments for this cost.
Okay, so what was the original? I'm just saying, do we need 3 proposals? Do we need more than one proposal?
We'll need to go out to fully bid.
Right, it has to go to bid.
So this is just an estimate, all right, so it could come in lower.
Yeah. And I believe the company that we use is on the state bid list, too.
Yeah. If it's state bid, you don't have to.
It's state bid, right? They are state bid. The people.
I'll make a motion for a favorable recommendation, Mr. Chairman.
I'll second that.
Remember the company?
Safety.
I got it all.
It's about safety at this point. I make a motion for a favorable recommendation.
Great idea to move forward.
Motion is on the floor. Is there any other discussion?
I just have a question. Al, have you tabulated everything that's in all of these articles versus what we're going to have available for cash?
Yes.
It sounds like
At
a
the
great
end, we're
idea.
gonna
I
have
just
to,
want to make
yes.
sure we're not...
We're okay.
Okay, all
I
right.
just have one quick question, and I'm not going to do this all night. I apologize in advance.
You can. That's okay.
I'm just curious, are you going to make a policy change requiring the police officers to store their guns at the police station? In other words, are they going to be used? Because I'm just thinking if they're accustomed to bringing them home at night, like, are they going to be used? Are we going to be...
I'm not, so my personal opinion is I wouldn't want to be home without a firearm somewhere in my house. I understand that with young children, and some people are put in that quandary, what's better, to have my firearm with me or not to have the firearm? That's really an officer discretion thing. I'll be very candid. I'm not going to write a policy that they have to keep their firearm at the station. I think I'm not going to put that on them like that. I think there are some officers that, like myself, are very comfortable at home with their firearm and securing it at home. So no, the short
That's
answer
what I
is...
assumed, so I'm kind of thinking then why are you even getting them?
I'm sorry?
If people are going to be bringing their guns home, then why are we even getting the storage? Why are we spending that much for storage?
So my argument would be this, right? You know, you're making me take my gun home, you're making me secure my gun at home, and now I just had I had a discharge at home and somebody got shot. Because you made me take it home, you didn't provide me a place to secure my weapon and firearm.
It's more a liability issue.
That's my opinion.
Okay.
You know, I mean, I would refer to legal minds as to what that really would, but that's just how I feel. And I
Robbie, if an officer has more than one weapon,
Mm-hmm.
he could split it, or she could split it.
Right, he or she could split, and you know, there's other things too. There's your taser, there's chemical spray. You know, these are things that, quite honestly, I wouldn't want at home with a young child, or I just wouldn't want at home. Period. You know what I mean? It's easier if you're almost setting people up for failure. Okay, and then here's the other argument: someone breaks into your house. Now they stole the safe, because we had that happen. They stole the safe, picked the safe right up, tore it out of the wall, and now they have an officer's guns, taser, mace. That happened. Not recently. That was a long time ago. We recovered everything, and you know, the person faced consequences to the courts, but we give them an avenue to secure them stuff. In my opinion, it's just we're not giving them the proper, you know, tools to secure their items.
Robbie, I assume the safes are for more than just a sidearm and ammunition. I mean, I haven't priced safes lately, but I assume 50 safes for 50 police officers in a station would be a lot less than $500,000. Is this more than just sidearms and ammunition?
Oh yeah, so it's the whole thing is it's a whole locker setup, right? And it's high-grade steel, and it's wired in. You know, another problem, and this might not seem like a big problem, is we don't have a place for officers to charge their radios. It was an afterthought in the station. So people, you know, sometimes argue, well, I have to take my radio home, I have to charge it up at home, you know, that's not right, because every other station, all these newer stations, they have, you know, all these charging banks, and I do have some spare batteries, but these lockers are going to have power cords built into it that they can plug their radios in and they can charge and get ready from shift to shift. So it's not just the guns securing section, it's the whole retooling of these lockers that is the big, you know, the bigger issue. You know, I mean, I would have issues with somebody losing their shield. You know, your shield should be secured in your locker and in your wallet. It shouldn't be home, you know, hanging off your table or in your car, God forbid. I mean, how many times have we heard that story? You know.
Okay. Any other questions? Motion is on the floor. All in favor? Any opposed? Unanimous. Okay. Now we go to 39.
Family services road.
Oh, family
For
service.
those of us working off the old version, is that 40?
The old version was 38. Oh,
39.
Police chief, 39 on the old version.
Ready? Okay. This is the easiest one to argue, I think, and I always start in saying this. I don't know why I'm here asking for this money, because it's money that should be given to outreach and rehab. That's how it was part of the big farmer settlement with the government, but somebody somewhere along the line put this caveat that we have to get approvals and all this, which is weird to me, being very honest.
With all due respect, every penny that's
No,
being
it didn't come from this board, it came from the state.
No, but I'm saying,
Yeah.
every penny
It
has to
just
go
seems
to
weird to
town
me, Al.
meeting.
It just seems weird to me that
Yeah, it
it's
just-
settlement money to use for opioid rehabilitation
Same thing with the cable
and
money,
addiction,
pop,
you know?
dictatorship money.
Listen, I'm here.
Second.
Motion on,
Well, how much? I mean,
$500,000.
It's their money.
This is coming from the opioid, to settle it out. This is not Milford money.
Right.
It's now Milford money because it was given to Milford.
Right, exactly.
The intention of going.
Correct. It's going to, just, you know, for you know, to be formal, it's going for clinicians. It's going for a mental health nurse to be out in the field and make sure people get their medicine. You know, our family services unit is really doing some amazing stuff here in Milford, keeping people out of jail, keeping people out of hospitals, preventing people from relapse. These are all things that are happening now, and this is just going to be more of what's going on. It's going to expand the clinical clinicians.
I think we've gone through this before, haven't we, Robbie? So it's a yearly thing?
We've never had.
Well, it's so the money that has been allotted through the settlements, through the federal government and Big Pharma and all these other settlements, it's in stages. It's in stages over years, over time.
Yeah, because I've heard, I know we've done this.
We've done this before, we did. Yep, we did. No,
We talked about the Sacklers and their settlement.
Yeah,
But it's just like everything in the government.
yeah,
It doesn't happen
Yeah.
swiftly.
just
or-
confusing to me, Al. Just
Hey, the good
confusing.
news is we're getting $500,000 to help people in Milford.
That's the end story.
Can you clarify, we're getting $500,000 from where?
Got more than that.
Go ahead, Zach.
All right, remember at the last FinCom meeting, when I was presenting the origins of what made up free cash, one of the big numbers we talked about was the settlement funds. Typically, the state would come out and allow a special revenue fund, and that's what Chief DeCino's talking about. Why do I have to go to town meeting and get approval? Special revenue fund would have allowed me, Chris, to put those money into a separate fund to be spent without appropriation.
Exactly.
The state kind of dropped the ball on that. Division of Local Services is even acknowledging it. So I expect this time next year that will be legislation that'll allow us to put it into a special revenue fund. So last year was $250,000. We expect similar money this year, and it's going to be ongoing in the future.
Is it 250 or 500?
500.
The numbers we're asking for is 500.
Right. Last time it was 260.
But it could vary from year to year, and to Zach's point, this is a 2-minute vote for me every year. If in a year and a half, to Zach's point, we don't have to vote on this anymore, that's great.
Right.
But for me, it's a 2-minute vote.
It's a bigger version of potato chip.
That's
But it had to be
exactly
reappropriated on a free-
Okay.
bullet
You had
money.
to let it-
Guys, we got a motion.
At some point in time, this will become a line item in his budget, won't it?
No, it's going to go directly in.
It's very likely it will be set up as a special revenue fund.
Exactly.
The guidance
It's not going to be a line item, it's
But
going to
it's
go in.
not today, so
Not today.
all in
Exactly.
favor? Any opposed? Unanimous. Okay. We're actually running a little bit ahead, so you want to take on the IT?
Actually, Mr. Chairman, could we do Article 2? It's a select board article, but I think Robbie has a little more expertise on, I think it's Article 2, substance abuse program.
Okay,
So if we could do that one, and then maybe...
absolutely, because that could come under the subcommittee reports. Yeah, well, you got the representative of the select board passing the torch so we can discuss it.
I can help if you want.
So
Ricky.
what we're talking about in this article is there's been so many positive changes with the way that we're able to reach out and help mental health and wellness, the disease of addiction, and what this is they're asking for monies be appropriated to Chris's Corner, which is a place, I mean, I don't want to get into how amazing it is, that you can walk into discreetly and get mental health counseling. If you don't feel comfortable with the family services unit, having interaction with them, you can kind of anonymously show up at Chris's Corner. Amy Leone and her team can get you into counseling, can get you follow-ups with doctors, and it's really separate from the family services unit. It has nothing to do with the police. I don't think it should have anything to do with the police. I think it should be separate, and every town around is basically doing this to have monies available for Chris's Corner to function and to provide this service. This is something that Amy has championed through the region. It's just amazing, and she met with us the other day, and it's just the next step into trying to provide this different location that's separate, and it's up and running. You know, a lot of the stuff they do pro bono, you know, not to use the legal pro bono, but so that's where this money comes from. And that's what it's going to go to. It's going to go directly to that site.
And the money, if I remember right, was $60,000. It's $2 per resident of the town participating.
$60,700.
So we're each chipping in $2 to help out citizens of Milford who need a little extra help.
Based on population.
Right.
Based on
So we got 30-some thousand times 2, 60. Any other towns around us that want to participate?
Some will be less.
Well, yeah, I mean, you
Exactly.
got towns like Hopedale that have half our population. You wouldn't expect them to pay more. David?
Is this coming out of the 500,000 we just talked about, or is this something different?
This is something completely different, separate.
This is coming out of our pockets.
This is coming about, okay.
You're putting in $2.
All right.
So Chris's Corner,
Recommendation, Mr. Chairman.
Okay?
I just want to understand, Chris's Corner is a community nonprofit organization, is that what that is?
Yeah, Chris's Corner, it's the old Patnari Law Office.
John Fernandez.
Yeah, John Fernandez, right, yeah. The Family Services Unit runs out of the Community Impact over on Congress Street. The two are different. Now, there is obviously a lot of bleed back and forth with patients, but this is a different setup. It's not part of our Family Services Unit. The money that was appropriated for Family Services Unit doesn't go to Chris's Corner. It's not that thing. It's a totally different thing.
So how is this different from the opioid grant in terms of direction or?
It's different in the fact that, like he says, it's per person. This was something that was established with other towns in the region that they
Oh, this is
agreed.
a regional?
Yeah, other towns are putting in, whatever their equivalent is, how many people in their town, $2, so they can all use that as a resource.
Mr. Chairman, just for some context, this program, if you recall, was initiated in 2019.
Right.
And Amy Leone was able to obtain a pretty large grant, so actually a lot of the communities still have the original funding that they put up from 2019. We do not, and we're looking to replenish that.
Chairman,
Oh,
I'd like to know, on this program and even other ones that we've been talking about, if there is any kind of monitoring procedure or audit procedure on tracking how this money is spent, and is it being spent properly, or does it disappear, to use a...
No, I was just waiting.
Let me take.
Go ahead,
please.
go ahead.
All right, so I would have presented this a little bit differently. The money's not going directly to Chris's Corner. Chris's Corner is providing a service to the town of Milford. The money is set up as an article in the police budget. They will be being billed. They'll be using Chris's Corner as a vendor. It's exempt from 30B. It makes perfect sense why we would use them, but it's not just, here's the money, here you go. They provide a service, we review the service like any other bill and pay it that way. So it's still coming through.
and Zach, you're the one monitoring this.
You got it.
And to your point, sir, and I was waiting for you to finish, I have every penny, right through the stuff that we submit. It's incredible. So anytime anybody wants to look at it, every dime, where it's going, we even have, they're confidential, patients that certain monies went to get them into, rehabilitation programs or medication. Everything is tracked down to the call, down to the penny, all of it.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
So if that's the case, are you just going to put it into your operating budget next year? Or following? How many, we going to do this yearly, or how's this work?
They are, so as I mentioned, a large grant was given.
Right.
An application is being done again. It seems to be a very good likelihood that there will be funds, but say there isn't, yeah, probably.
Yeah, but if they're going to continue, it's a great program, and I'm all for it. If they're going to continue to use Chris's Corner, why not just putting it into the operating budget? Can you do that?
You potentially could, yes.
All right,
Okay.
just a thought.
Bobby made a motion. Do we have Jerry seconded it? Any other discussion? If not, all in favor? Any opposed? Unanimous.
We should consider putting this in his budget. Just leave it.
That's what David brought up.
Yeah, that's what,
That's a great idea.
Freaking Levine.
I don't want to drag him through for this.
Okay. Library,
Yes.
step forward. I apologize, we're running 2 minutes late.
What number, Mr. Chairman?
Hold on, Article 7.
Four, then 7, right?
Oh, we could go through 4. It's 4 and 7. Article 4, fire suppression system. Now, from a capital point of view, this has been in the plan for a number of years, and we've gone over wet systems, dry systems,
We have,
warm systems.
we have.
So this has gone through capital with a favorable
That's what I
recommendation.
asked, was favorable?
Yep. Go ahead.
So we have to still, it's favorable, so we still have to talk about it?
That was the subcommittee,
Oh, okay.
Yes.
not even the big
I'm
leagues.
okay with taking a recommendation from the subcommittee for the capital. I don't need to do this over and
I'm
over.
fine with that.
I'm fine, but can somebody at least tell me what the dollar amount?
Tell me what the
45, I'm sorry, guys, what I sent you today,
Didn't get it.
what I emailed today was my version, the draft of the town meeting report, and that has the dollars.
All right, so you
so
just
we
have
should
to
be looking
announce
at that?
tonight each
I'll announce it.
article.
I'm working off the one with dollars on it. 45,000.
We'd like
Now-
to say 50,000 because we're trying to get the quotes in tomorrow. We did a request for quotes, and we have two potential that are going to come back tomorrow, and then our trustees meeting tomorrow, we're going to make a final
I was
decision.
going to say, we push forward, and we can put 50 or 45.
Move favorable for 50,000.
I say 50.
50.
Yep.
Yes,
If
please.
they don't spend it, we get it back.
Yeah,
We do.
we've been good like that.
And
Second.
and the question came up, okay, Lauren seconded it. The question came up about wet versus dry that we discussed ad nauseum. They're both water-based systems. It's just the last piece.
You like the short version?
Yes.
Okay. Right now, the lower level has what's called a wet system, which means all the piping is filled with water, and so when it's released during a fire, water immediately comes out of the spigots. On the first floor, or the main floor, was installed with what they call a dry system. A dry system still has water in it, but what happens is a space on either side of the sprinkler head has air in it. And so therefore it gets triggered from smoke and heat, and then it releases the water. So there's a slight delay in the release. The difficulty we're running into when we had it last inspected was the fact that I guess the best analogy to that is the Back Bay timbers. While they're underwater, they're preserved. As soon as they get exposed to air, they start to rot. And what's happened in our system is, over time, that air pocket has been exposed or unexposed during some of the cycles of cleaning and update, and we've accumulated a large amount of sludge. So now we're in a predicament that if we did have, God forbid, a fire, we run the risk of not only having the fire, having smoke damage if it doesn't release right away, and if it does release, we have some water damage, which we'd have anyway, but more importantly, right now, we'd be releasing sludge if the water got past it. And therefore, we would have smoke, fire, water, mold, mildew, and all that.
It would be nasty, basically.
We have a motion by Jerry
Motion and second.
Second.
and a
You don't
second.
need to
I think,
go.
any other questions? All in favor? Unanimous.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Now we move on to Article 7.
Yes, carpeting, well, library furnishings. Thank you, Chris, for that, the way it should have been done. What's happening is like everything else in town, we're getting to the point where last renovation was done 15 years ago. Carpeting was put in, and all the love, and last year we had over 97,000 visits to the library, and it's time to change the carpeting and also spruce up the furniture and make it
Sorry, 20 to 25.
25 we asked for.
25,000 to replace the carpets. I should have started with that. I'm sorry.
Carpeting and a couple of chairs.
Yes, Jerry.
You have a building maintenance account for your building. Shouldn't that be taken out of your?
It can't be, because generally what we take out of there is like the general maintenance, and there isn't enough, it's only $9,000 anyway. It would not
only
cover.
$9,000?
It's only $9,000.
Excuse me for asking that. That should be increased.
Well,
You don't need it. Why?
Brownie, you bad man.
No, that's serious. That if they needed it, they'd come back and increase it. We
Right.
haven't we've been taking care of odds and ends.
Yes.
And it's kept the maintenance budget. No maintenance is being pushed off because of the
No.
budget.
This is the kind of things that we keep on capital planning because it doesn't happen every year. So we have $9,000. It takes care of all the general type of maintenance, and then we come and ask for things like this. And the last time this was done was 15 years ago.
And this would replace the carpet in the front area. So as you walk in, that front area, the circulation area, and down the stairs,
Yeah.
which is a heavy traffic area, and it's starting to show the wear.
Any other questions?
Motion favorable.
Second.
Nicholson and Vincenzo. All in favor? Any opposed? Favorable.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
That's the only two we had for you, right?
Yeah, we appreciate the help always.
Yep.
Thank you, library ladies.
Well, we do our
And
best.
thank you for your continued support.
Yes.
Dr.
Always.
Christopoli.
All right.
Dr. What? You could do it quick, because I wanted Robbie to be.
Oh, okay, we can go to IT. I thought Scotty was up next. Okay, let's
Negative.
do IT.
Thank you very much.
What number's that one?
I didn't go very far.
Yes, in 28.
28?
Yeah, 28. Just wait, pretty sure.
This is going to be one that hurts.
But it's a good hurt, Mr. Chairman, it's a good hurt.
But very easy to explain.
Well, when you have a choice of
It is, it really is easy to
do it
explain.
or do it.
Right.
Okay, who wants to start off?
Can we start with the
I'm
cost?
going to look right now, it's $1,000,001.
This is old 27.
Yes, current
New
20.
28, and if I got my numbers right, it's 1.150.
Correct.
That's correct.
Go.
Okay, so compliances have changed in the past couple of years, and most recently now with the FCC. The radios we have in our system, in our dispatch, are substantially old, at least 20 years old. The way we're going now is all the copper that Verizon supplies us for our radio lines is being sunset. So as of June 6th of 2023, we're going to lose our copper at the police station. We were given notice a couple years ago about this, and notice has gone forward, but there was no resources, I guess the best way to put it, that would kind of manage a project of this size to bring us from copper to fiber. So the biggest compliance we have right now is that we are running on antique software and antique radios where we should be on digital. And the digital requires fiber. There's also several upgrades that the FCC has mandated, including, I believe, P25 and Simulcast, which is also going to be a requirement. So we've had to replace the entire radio system, but not just dispatch, but dispatch, police, fire, and EMS.
This is fire too. This isn't just the, this is the whole, your ambulance, you're calling for, everything. This
Now-
is the comm center.
Because you're going, sorry, Jerry.
Vehicle radios too, the ones in the vehicle?
So I'll let you talk to that.
So the ones in the vehicle, we had the foresight when we built these cars out over the last 2 years. They're all good. Our portable radios, if you remember, they're all good.
Replace them.
Yeah, we replaced all that stuff. So they're all compatible with this. And what I did is I took a bite of that apple back then, Jerry, and I'm like, no, we need to be compliant with what's going to be coming on the road. We didn't think they were going to shut us off on June 6th. It was coming that quick. Here's the other thing, and you heard me mention this before. When it rains, if it's 3 in the morning, give me a call because I'm awake, because I'm up with chest pain, because I'm waiting for the radios to go out.
Yep.
That's what we deal with right now. Because of the copper system
thunderstorm.
lines that run up to the Highland Street Tower, that are going to run up to the Maple Street Tower, right? When it rains, if enough rain gets on the copper lines, our whole radio system.
So phase one was like 800,000.
Yeah,
That's the core system, taking it from copper
Correct.
to fiber.
And it's not just the radios. It's because you're going from copper to fiber, it's the radios and it's the station alerting system.
It's everything.
Yes,
It's the whole
everything, yes.
infrastructure.
Yep.
And then so the curveball wasn't big enough. They threw one at us that now we have to have a backup system that uses the internet.
Right, so the
Power.
so the P25 on simulcast will become a requirement of the FCC next year. So that's why it's called Phase 2.
But with all due respect, Chris, when you say next year, to this group,
That's this year.
that's this year. It's next calendar year, but it's this fiscal year. So you had planned to submit it for next calendar year, but that's in our fiscal year. So to us, it's the same. And that's why.
Well, we're talking about it today.
That's what we're talking about today,
We said
yes.
1.1 million.
Right.
Because it's going to happen this fiscal year.
That's why it's here now, right.
And they keep using these words mandate and requirement. I hope everyone around this table are hearing the words that they keep repeating. Mandate, requirement.
If we don't, the problem is if we don't do it, what we risk is losing our radio communications and losing our station alerting system, which means dispatch can't alert the fire
Police,
department.
fire, EMS.
Have we already done a piece of this, or was that in the context
No,
of the
he was talking
radio?
about so,
Because we talked about this once before.
so we did.
Radio.
We're talking portable radios and cruiser radios. You're 100% correct. And what we don't have anymore is we don't listen to Franklin Fire Department all the time. That we fixed with the last thing we did. But in doing that, I sat down with our radio providers and I said, listen, we took a bite of this apple, I got this money, I want these portables and our cruiser radios to be compatible with what's coming down the road, whether it be this year. I honestly didn't know they were going to shut us off June 6th. And they're like, this is going to get you compatible with everything you're moving forward in the next 5 to 10 years with our portables and our base radios in the cruiser.
Any other questions?
I have one. Robbie, when you mentioned copper, you talking copper wire?
Copper wire, yes.
Do we get any credit for the,
Oh, no.
no? Well, that's worth.
I'm sure Verizon will get plenty of credit, but we don't get any credit for it.
Verizon's wire, I don't think.
Oh, it's their wire?
Yeah.
All right, then they're gonna have it, yeah.
Okay, any other questions? Grant?
So I understand that we just have to do this, and so and I'm good with that. I'm supportive of this. I appreciate what this enables for the community. The question that I have when I think about sort of the evolution of our conversations and then everything that's here, from my side of the table, it's hard to understand the entirety of the system. And I wanted to ask, is there another phase of this that's about to come up that you're not telling us about now, or is this like, no, this is taking care of everything, and now we're going to be done for
I actually kind of
a little
expected
while?
that question. So the reason why it's called Phase 1 and Phase 2 is Phase 1, if you had asked me 2 weeks ago, actually 3 weeks ago now, if Phase 1 would take care of us for the next 10 to 15 years, I would have said, yes, we're good. But unfortunately, the week after that is when our radio guy came back to us with the new FCC regulations.
Sure, and that's out of your control.
And we have to be clear, with what knowledge we have.
100%.
Oh, yeah.
Robbie is representing that we should be good for half a decade to a decade.
We hate to say it.
Tomorrow,
Yeah.
we could get another mandate and change.
Right. We can't hold you
Michael,
accountable for
Dave,
that.
Chairman,
That's-
you're perfect.
I just want to have transparency.
Michael?
Quick compatibility question, is the fire department already on this digital circuit?
No.
They're not?
This is, again,
'Cause you
this
need
is
to talk to
police,
them.
fire, and EMS. This is everything when you dial 911 from, I stubbed my toe, my house is on fire, there's someone breaking into my house.
So this is not just police? This is
No,
police,
no.
It's the
fire-
whole comm center.
This is first responders.
Can you comment, though, on the radios? Do we have a fire problem?
So yes, so part of that cost includes replacing radios that need to be replaced in the actual apparatus
On the fire side.
on the fire side.
Why isn't the fire chief here so someone can yell at him? Why am I the only one here?
Don't worry, we'll take Nelson to task. He usually sends a deputy in.
Hold on. Lauren had her hand raised also prior, so.
I was just curious what town hall systems meant. Is anything going on in the town hall that's going to be changed?
Yes, so there are town hall systems that talk to the police department.
So it's, okay.
Yeah.
Automated.
Yep.
They talk to each other.
Okay, David.
So just out of curiosity, for safety's sake, is there any downtime issues when you implement from old to new?
So what we do, to answer that, we, in the back of our comm center is our EOPS center, which is our emergency, war room. They're going to be moved in there for a month on top of each other while this happens. I mean, this is a massive undertaking beyond the money side of it. This is not something I'm excited about. It's going to destroy life for a little while, and it's going to make things complicated. But unfortunately, we're backed into a wall. I am happy we had that meeting the other day, and we got Phase 2 dropped on us before we came to this board. But again, this is police, fire, and EMS. This is the whole kit and caboodle. Your 911, your computer-aided, your phone tracking, when we track somebody, this is all that.
And there's a small piece to this that is also part of police reform. So as we're going forward, many communities, including Mass, are considering body cams. And the body cam system has to be controlled out of a dispatch center where they can get the video in and attach it to
But that's not a
existing
mandate
calls in the
yet.
system.
Not a mandate yet.
Motion to vote favorable?
Second it.
I think Carly beat you, but,
I don't care,
okay.
I just want to move forward.
All in favor? Any opposed? Sold.
Did you note the amount?
1.150000.
I just wanted,
It's in the
I
notes.
understand, it's $1,150,000.
Carly.
That's a big hit to the
Okay.
checkbook.
That's,
Yeah, no, listen, it's.
okay.
Mandate,
It's police, fire,
requirement.
EMS.
It's the whole.
You're the only one here, that's what's
Well, I'm not going to let that happen again, trust me. It's the last time.
He's calling Nelson right now.
Okay, number, is it 24 or 25?
It was 24 the last time I looked at it. I don't know what you have now.
I gotta look, I think it's still 24. Yes. Explain why you burnt up the audio system.
Well, thankfully I didn't. Thankfully I didn't.
150,000.
Your upper town hall did. So back when you had purchased a new audio system for that space, the problem is you purchased an audio system, but it wasn't made for that environment. So it's like buying a server or buying computers. You don't put it in a oven because it's just not going to last long. The problem with upper town hall during the summer months, it's 200 degrees up there. So the equipment is compacted into a metal shell with no ventilation, no fans, and it's been like that for the past several years, slowly dying. Now we're at a point where the entire speaker system is fried. The amplifying system from Bose is gone. All the microphones are no longer functional. So we have no choice at this point but to rebuild the system. The only difference is when I'm rebuilding it, we're putting there's a server rack style air conditioner that's going to go in there. It's going to keep the air flowing in between the units. Because
What's
it's,
the age of the existing system?
6 years.
6 years.
5 years.
It's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous, you're right.
Ridiculous.
We blew it.
So that's more than.
We bought that system. We blew it.
no,
$45,000.
so you didn't blow it. The
Yes,
problem
we
is,
did.
well, the problem is you didn't have the resources here to understand that there was a problem in the
I'm
first
not blaming anybody, but we bought the wrong system.
And we're going to fix it.
Who installed the
Buy the
system?
right
So I
system.
make a motion for favorable recommendation. Mr.
Hold on, David.
Who installed the system? Who-
second Bob's
Anybody
motion.
who recommended this? Is there a third-party vendor that we can backcharge?
No.
No?
No, not after 6 years.
Well, I mean, it's kind of like, I don't know.
Been more than that.
Seems like,
Okay.
I just want to mention that when the system was first installed, it was really beautiful. And I'm a person who wears 2 hearing aids, and it was terrific. Now, what we've been using lately, as a town meeting member, I do not understand 80% of what is said during a town meeting during these recent recent sessions with this, whatever we have now. So I'm all in favor of going professional on this, as long as you do it right.
Yes, it's going to have a full hearing assist system with a loop built around the room, so.
Just for clarity, we're saying it's 150. It's actually a little bit more, but we got a $25,000 earmark
From
Becca Rausch and
Becca Rausch.
Brian Murray.
Actually, we'll give this one to the senator.
It was just the senator?
This one, I think, to the senator.
Okay, so
Brian did
Be-
support it, though, yes.
Becca got us 25 grand towards this, so every little bit helps.
Mr. DeVita?
Any questions? Motion.
Favorable.
Jerry?
We already have
We
one.
already did.
Oh, we have one? Then all in favor? Any opposed? Done.
Yeah, I'm done.
150.
150.
I think we're on to Dr.
No,
Christofoli.
Mr. Chairman, could we get town council Moody out of here? He's going to help with Article 14.
Okay.
Open power, extension of the contract. Amendment of the contract, extension of the contract.
Does anybody object to moving Jerry up front?
I do, I make him wait.
All right.
14.
You know I love you, Jerry.
Oh, I know.
Good stuff.
Yes, everybody loves me.
This is the first time you're coming with Gazinta money, not Gazauta money.
Well, yeah, this is, I did this 30 years ago, and here I am again.
14.
Because this is Milford Power Limited Partnership, now Milford Power LLC. It's the power plant down off of National Street.
14-1-4.
Which, if you remember, when it was approved 30 years ago, was going to be a big problem, big deal. And it turned out to be maybe one of the best corporate citizens we have. And we entered into an agreement at that time, which town meeting authorized to be extended to 30 years, that did a number of things that are very important. And this agreement will keep that alive. The least important thing is the agreement. They pay us, it sets the rate of pay that they pay for the sewer effluent which they use.
We're using T1 flavors.
Guys, be quiet, please. So, again, three things that it does, but the least important is, but it's an important key to tying the other things in, is to pay for the sewer effluent. It sets the rate for the effluent that the sewer department provides when it can. That's a limitation on what they can do, because they have to put it in the Charles River, too. But so it's increasing that from the last rate by about 50%. And there'll be a couple of other increases over
So
the
what will
15
it go
years.
up to, Jerry?
75 cents per 1,000 gallons.
What does that mean in layman's terms?
It means, we're getting paid for effluent that otherwise just goes
Is
into
it
the
$1
river.
million a year, half?
Oh, no, nothing close to that. In the range of between, depending on the year and what they have to put in the Charles River, it's going to run between 20,000 and 60,000 at best. But again, the key to that really is part of what they were willing to agree to 30 years ago and are today is to do two other very important things. And the underlying agreement with the consideration for that, what ties it all together. One of them, which is to waive their right to claim an abatement as a manufacturing operation, which they are. They manufacture electricity. They could get a substantial abatement on their taxes on all their personal property, because the bulk of it's personal property. They agreed to waive that, and not only did they agree to, and that waiver continues on in this agreement, not only did they waive that, they also guaranteed us $1 million a year in taxes, which has been important, because there have been years where the assessment has been considerably less. So there have been years when we've got a supplemental check for.
They are providing $1 million.
We're getting $1 million. Now, the taxes right now, in some years, is over $1 million, so there's no additional payment. But still, there are years, a couple of years ago, it was under that by about 80,000. Another time, it was under that by about 60,000 in the last 10 years. So it's still important. But the most important thing of all is that to lock in their promise that they will not apply for an exemption from the personal property. So it's, in so many respects, a good agreement. If the agreement's in effect right now for 5 years, but we need town meeting to authorize it to go to 15 years, which town meeting did 30 years ago for.
So we would still get around about $1 million.
We're going to get $1 million plus a year, the taxes, yeah.
In council, they've already proven that they're a great resident of this town.
They have been. There have been no problems.
Seriously, I mean.
The most important thing is we never hear about them.
Exactly.
Nothing.
We never hear about them.
And if you remember the hearings 30 years ago, I mean, people really believed, and I appreciated people who lived in the general area, that the world was going to end. It's going to be awful.
Exactly.
It's actually been excellent, and they have been so responsive, and it's been.
Under normal circumstances, the select board would have authorization for a 5-year contract.
That's right. That's right.
This takes that and extends it to 15 years.
15 years, that's
And
correct.
the purpose of going to town meeting is to lock it in for 15 years.
That's correct. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'll be back in 15 years, we'll do it again.
Look forward to it.
Brant.
Quick question. So this all looks fantastic, but are we making any concessions to them that?
None.
So it's exactly the
Except
same?
an agreement for 15 years, which is important to them to lock in, obviously, as is important to us. But other than that, there are no concessions in it from before.
Okay, we have a motion by Andy.
Second.
Chris, second. All in favor? Any opposed? Unanimous.
Mr. Chair, do you think we could take up Article 42, liability claims trust, with Jerry, sir?
Sure.
thought Jerry was retired.
I retired 5 years ago.
Coming back in 15 years, he said.
Jerry's like Cher.
Still be young.
Jerry's like Cher. You're ugly.
Never going away.
Or maybe even my ghost will be back.
42.
How much?
Town liability fund, $2.5 million.
I'll tee it up quick. As you recall, we've been talking about this a number of meetings now. As you know, we're self-insured. Jerry will talk to it a little bit further. We did up the annual contribution from $125,000 to $350,000. That is simply just paying for the supplemental policies that we do have. The balance right now is less than when I first started here 14 years ago. Obviously, that balance should be significantly higher. So this article is very, very crucial, important. We've been putting a lot of money into stabilization, which clearly we could use for large liabilities that come down. However, we had this conversation the other day, it is purely undesignated. We want to designate these funds into our self-insurance account and get it to a balance where it really deserves to be.
Now, people have asked, do we self-insure, which is yes, but I believe up to a certain point.
Yeah, we self-insure. When we set this program up in 1990, we self-insured for virtually everything. We even carried no insurance on the buildings. And we canceled our general liability, a number of policies. We very importantly kept the police professional liability policy, where our biggest risk is for civil rights. So we've always funded that. We still do. But where we went wrong in many ways is that when we set this up, we could project where this was going to end up if it was handled correctly. And we should be, within the range of 20 million plus right now, all these years later. What happened was, that was the 1990. By 1992, 93, difficult financial times. Everybody recognized that. Finance security, I'm not being critical, none of you were probably on it, but found that as an easy way to balance the budget. Rather than laying off a firefighter, police officer, we'll just underfund the self-insurance. That happened for a long time. We were not even putting into it anything close to the policies that we were paying in 1990, which was always going to be, we'll put in what we would otherwise be paying insurance companies in 1990, increased by every year. Instead, we went in the opposite direction. So the fund, which right now I believe should be 20 million plus, is
1.8.
1.8. We just significantly...
Jerry, we could cut it and no one would even know the difference.
Nobody feels,
There's not one less police officer, one less fire department, one less teacher. We used to cut that because no one knew the difference.
Nobody knew. It was easy to do, and I wasn't critical of...
And I'm not saying it's right or wrong, I'm just saying I agree with you.
Those were some tough times in the mid-'90s, and so cuts had to be made on a number of things, and this was an easy cut. It's a reality. But we never really got back to where, back to where we should. So
we are covered if a major claim went against us.
Well, no, not necessarily. Not necessarily, not for liability. We have major claims out there of incredible magnitude, but no, not necessarily. We now carry umbrella insurance on the buildings, so we're now covered for the buildings. If the buildings had burned down...
So if Town Hall burns down...
We now have coverage with a high deductible. That's the way we've set it up. Very high deductible.
Like $200,000.
It may be that much, yeah. Very high deductible. But until 5 years ago, we had no insurance in the building. We're going to pay for it out of the fund, which at that time was about $6 million. So that ought to tell you what's happening here.
Okay.
Then just move to
We have supplemental insurance. So what other insurance, what insurance do we have other than the police?
We have the police professional liability. We have a school nurses liability policy, which we kept at the time because it was so cheap, and it still is relatively cheap. We have another school-related policy, which we also kept at that time because it was cheap, which had to do with professional, limited liability on professionals, teachers, and others. So we kept that because it was inexpensive, and it is still relatively inexpensive. That plus now the umbrella insurance on the buildings is what we have for insurance. And again, if we handle this program correctly, if we continue to handle it correctly, it's a great benefit to the town, because instead of paying premiums from insurance companies, we're paying ourselves, we're getting the interest. When we started this in 1990, we were paying $225,000 for liability policies, and the insurance company paid out about $8,000 a year.
So it worked, and it can work. And it's not that far different now. Obviously, more money goes out with claims, and this being 30 years later. But this program still can be put in place and work.
If we handle it correctly.
Let me just follow
Correctly,
up.
which means
So-
off the
Okay,
interest.
hold on, Lauren.
So is there a reinsurance option? Like, have you looked into that?
A reinsurance?
Well, like, if we paid out a claim, we could get reimbursed. Like, if we had a massive claim, would we be able to get reinsured? Have you looked into reinsurance at all?
No.
I'm just, because
Yeah,
I'm
no,
just
that's
thinking to
fine.
myself, I'm like, defense costs, if somebody sued the town, you had a major liability issue, defense costs is usually the largest thing.
Yeah, we have some claims that come, right now in that major claim that we have, fortunately, we were able to get an old insurance company from the distant past on the police professional liability to cover the defense costs, which is very important, yeah. But others, we don't have that, but we, some we will now. But, it's really, is for liability in particular, it was supposed to be a self-insurance program. It can work, it could work, it should have worked, it did work to a point, now we got to get it going back again.
Okay, David?
Correct. Did I hear right that there's 1.8 million in this and it should be 20 million?
I think it should be 20 million plus, if we had done it and funded it correctly along the way.
So
That's
we're
all.
like 8 years into $2 million on a year to catch up to the 20 million. Is that
We're-
am I thinking that wrong?
No, there's no requirement. We're not going to catch up, but we've got to reverse the pattern we've had for 20 years of underfunding it, and at least get, for a while, when we can, let's overfund it. And there'll be times when we can't overfund it, but not we, you guys.
Michael.
How did you determine 2.5 million?
Michael?
If there was a lawsuit against the school department, whatever, $1 million or whatever, does that come under this, or is there a separate policy involving the school system?
There is, but it depends on the nature of the claim.
Let's say a large claim,
Well, it's
multi-million
not the
dollar.
size, it's what's the cause of action. I mean, if somebody gets hurt, they fall down the stairs, that comes under our policy. If somebody gets hurt for a number of reasons. But if it's a claim based upon an alleged error or fault of one of the school officials, then that'll be covered. So it varies depending on the nature of the claim.
Jerry, you had a question?
I don't know if it's really that, you determined that 2.5 million is the right number. How did you arrive at that?
Opportunity.
That's what we can afford out of the bucket.
In other words,
It's there, so.
it fits the current situation.
Yes, exactly.
That's fine.
I feel like I'm kind of operating in a little bit of a black hole there. I don't know anything about the claims history. I mean, why wouldn't we just have a catastrophic policy that covers us for more than $2 million, so we don't need more than that 1.8 that's in there? I'm trying to understand the
Well,
economics.
it's not necessarily easy to get that. I mean, that's kind of thing has been looked at over many years. And what we found when we originally set this up is to get, the insurance companies didn't want to sell that kind of insurance. They wanted you to buy that basic insurance. So the cost of that was often, over, at least as much as, if not over, what the basic general liability policy would be. Because insurance companies, at that time, the times I've dealt with it, not recently, have just very consciously not wanted to sell those policies unless you're willing to pay a huge premium for them.
Well, even just a
Not good.
basic CGL policy, just to catch up the deficit, maybe. Has anyone considered looking into that?
Maybe not in recent years, but the last time it was looked into was an enormous amount of money.
Too expensive.
I mean, the key to it is better to pay ourselves than an insurance company. That's what it comes back to.
Okay.
We've been able to do that, and we, even with the underfunding, it's stayed alive, but it's dropping.
Zach, I see we got to do a catch-up here. It sounds like I know we've talked about it a little bit. I don't have the details with me. We've taken up the funding going forward in the annual. How much more do we have to put in to tread water on this versus lose water? I mean, I know no year is exactly predictable. But like, how much do you think we need, how much more do we need to put in now based on your recommendation?
In the budgeting process, we jumped it to $350,000. That's going to cover any ordinary costs that we're incurring on an annual basis. Now, this also allows Treasurer Chris Pillar to invest these funds, not just normal like CDs. He has this actually invested. We have good years, we have bad years. Last year was a really good year. I think he earned some significant funds there. What was your question again? Sorry.
No, I think you answered, because the 350.
I wanted to say also, I purposely mentioned that we've been putting, as we all know, a lot of money into stabilization. So if we did come across one of these large claims that we've had,
we have money in the bank.
We have stabilization if we get one of the really big ones.
But we want to dedicate these funds specifically to this.
I agree. I just wanted to make sure I understood how much more
I'd
contributions.
just like to hear from Zach. Do you think we're right to keep the path that we're doing right now with the self-insurance?
Right now, yes, I think it's worked very well, just if we did things differently, it would be better.
So I just want to make a comment that just so that no one in our town and our residents realize, we are not missing anything by what we're doing. We're not underfunding it. Yes, we're underfunding it. We're doing everything properly. We're not missing anything. We're properly where we need to be. So for the public, where it's not like we've missed something. It's just a time for us to throw a few more coins in the piggy bank to help it. So I mean, there have been some comments around the table. Are we underfunded? Are we not? Can we not do this? We're perfect the way we are. It's just a few more coins in the piggy bank is the right decision. So
Didn't Jerry say we should have 20?
If everything had gone correctly, and we had over the last, how many years has it been since 1990? I'm not even sure. If we had been handling it correctly and putting into it what we planned on every year, despite paying claims and everything else, we would probably have in the range of $20 million in there. We'd be living off the interest. But again, and I'm not being critical of finance committees many years ago, it was a conscious decision to cut that as opposed to laying off police, fire, and everything else. We went through some tough times, and then maybe I can be critical of later finance committees. It could have been increased, but like once it got low, well, we don't have to cut it anymore, but why increase it? So we've been so significantly underfunding it. It's amazing.
But this is a good
yeah, we've been
step.
paying out claims all the time too. So
This is a good first step to
absolutely
replenishing it. We have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Any second? All in favor? So I have one that I want to, since the finance director sitting here. Jerry, you got any more?
I have nothing else that I...
Zach, we got a big one. Article 19.
Thanks, Sherry.
$10,600.
I would have had this contribution, $2,510,600, but this came up, So
Basically, my understanding, we had a company come in and do the audio for the town meeting.
Town meeting,
And they just didn't get us an invoice in time for normal billing.
Correct.
In time for the late billing. So it came in past when we could apply it to last year.
Yes.
So now we have to apply $10,600 to this year. It's a legitimate bill.
Yep.
They just took too long to get it to us to be in the proper year.
Yep, and municipal finance law is very strict. It's going to be in the same fiscal year, or you have to go to town meeting for it. At a special town meeting, this requires a 9/10 vote.
9/10,
Yeah.
Unpaid bill.
Yeah.
Motion, Mr. Chairman.
Motion by Moran. Brandt, second. Any discussions? All in favor? So,
Thank you.
Thanks, buddy.
now finally, Scotty, come on up. We've been waiting for you.
Sure. I got nothing to do tonight.
His ponytail is like 3 inches longer since he left.
All right.
Okay. Highway leaf truck number 15. Yeah, 15.
Okay. So.
How much?
I'm
100
asking for
grand?
100 just to basically retrofit an existing truck. But my goal is to have 3 leaf trucks to basically redo the whole system, so everybody benefits every week by leaf pickup. That's my plan. It's been the biggest pain is to have first week, second week, third week, everybody complains what week they're at, and I get it. And anybody who rakes their leaves out gets it. So I've been running one of our older trucks for years as a backup, and that's no longer happening. So I really only have 2 trucks now that struggle to get it done every year. It's a struggle. One breaks down, it's usually 2 or 3 weeks, so I have 1 truck. So what I have an older cabin chassis that I'd like to put on a leaf system on and utilize the truck.
Well, I remember when we first bought the trucks, they were like $250.
Yeah. The first set of trucks were $175.
$175.
Second set, we paid $68,000 a piece for.
Because you get them off the federal.
I used existing trucks that we had, so.
So this
And
is
I'm going to
still
do the
bargaining
same again. The price has doubled, so it's about 120. I originally went in for 100, but I got to jump it up to about 120, just to be safe, because I don't even, not sure where I can get it from at this point.
Well, this is one of the most popular programs in the town.
For some people hate it.
It's been gone through capital planning.
And
Favorable.
Then I make a favorable recommendation to Article 15.
Second.
Mike Nicholson, second. Any other questions? All in favor? Unanimous. Okay. Check that off. Front-end loader.
No, snow blower.
Oh, it says front loader, snow blower.
It goes on the front loader.
Oh, okay. Talk about snow blowing.
Nope, sorry, 44.
45.
44, no, 45.
All right. This has been on my capital plan for
Been
10
favorable
plus
for
years.
175 for years.
And it keeps going up, unfortunately. But I did my best to try to acquire one for the GSA, the military, basically. I tried and tried and tried. Unless you know somebody, you're not getting one. It's that simple. And I couldn't pull the string. So that would have been a freebie, but I couldn't get it done. So I really do not want to wait much longer. Granted, we've had some mild winters, but we've had some bad ones too in the last 10 years. So this is a very important piece of equipment. May not use it every year, may use it once a year, you may use it 10 times a year. It basically cleans the main street and around the schools. It removes all the snow in a very quick way. It's the one we have is old. It's 28 years old. We bought it the year I started working at the highway department, 28 years ago. You can't get parts for it anymore. I am going to keep it for a spare. I'll run it as long as I can. Because when you have 25, 30 tractor trailers in town ready to haul snow and that thing breaks down, I'm stuck with those trucks for the whole night. I can't just send them home. You're talking 50 to 60,000.
Mr. Chairman, what's the subcommittee?
It was favorable because it's been on the plan for...
So I make a favorable recommendation.
Second the motion.
Okay, so Jerry and Bobby.
Yeah.
All in favor?
This one's
Any opposed?
175 is correct.
Yep.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
I think that's all we had for you.
That's it.
Thanks, Scotty.
Parks,
Parks is here.
1 minute early.
How you doing, Jimmy?
Good, how you doing?
Guess we could start with 16.
It's opening night for the Bruins, so Jimmy needs to get home soon.
We'll catch the last period. So what was 16? I don't have it in front of me.
Town Park and
All
Pearl
right, so,
Street Court.
yeah, so Town Park, and I met with,
For, hold on 1 second. Government block grant for 1.3 million.
yeah, so,
We got 538 applied from the ARPA money,
correct.
and this article is asking to finish it 740, which would put us at the upper range of 2.6 million. We're hoping the project will come in less, but in worst case, we're estimating 2.6 million.
Correct.
And that
From the
would be with the 740,000 that this article asked for.
Can I just ask one clarifying? We have the grant for the 1.3 already?
Yes.
So the town out of pocket is the 740?
Kind of. Remember, we have ARPA money that we applied.
So you
the
said that
town
was 538?
Right, but that's town money. So really, the town is putting out 1.2 million.
Yeah.
That money's good till 2027, right, Jimmy?
Yeah, so in order to get the block grant, we had to go right to the basic limit, to the next step of putting it out for bid. So they needed all the information up front. So we had to put in Mitch Residia and myself in a 6-week period, had to do a 6-month, sort of revamp of, okay, let's get all this stuff done. So the project's basically ready to go. I met with the architect on last Friday. He spoke of some changes and some things of the design. We're basically ready to sign a contract with this architect to, go forward with the project. Once.
Jimmy, could you just bring everybody up to speed on what is the project?
Yeah, so, well, I met with you guys a week ago. Yeah. I didn't know if you would let everyone know. That's fine.
I was going to let you do that.
Yeah, that's fine. So basically, we went for the community block grant. We ended up getting it for just under 1.325. We went to the select board for additional funds with the ARPA funds, which was awarded to us, and now we're coming here for the 740. The quotes that were given to us were up to 2.7 million for the complete project at Town Park. So at Town Park, this would include walkways, all new courts, all new fencing, additional basketball courts, additional parking, the bathrooms being restored, and I think that's about all lighting.
So basically, you're refreshing the whole town park.
Yes.
Except for where the basketball courts towards Memorial School are, that's being turned into well-needed parking.
Right. So there's about 18 to 20 spots that will go into the existing basketball court. The existing double tennis court would be turned into a double basketball court with option of street hockey or futsal. There's 3 other tennis courts. 2 of them will be converted to, repaired to a tennis court, 2 tennis courts. And the third one, that used to be the skate park years ago, on the further side, so you have an idea where it is, that's going to be 2 to 3 pickleball courts. That will be included in that. Cool. Some of the things I talked with the architect about where we could possibly, twist some of the funding, as far as, making sure we come in at the right number, would be the town removing all the fencing, the town removing all the pavement, which I would coordinate with Scott, and between our 2 departments, I think that could be done realistically, and it would save us a substantial amount on the fencing. So that's all stuff we're talking about, so we're just trying to see where all the money's going to go. The architect did lay it all out. I did give Al a copy. I don't know if he shared it with you, but we do have all the quotes for all the stuff that's being done in the town park. And on the high end, it was 2.6. And that's with contingencies and everything figured in, so.
And Paul Abel-Dabo loaded all that into our area.
So the one thing different, to compare it to like our pool project that's going on, and you ask a year and a half later, we're starting the pool project, which we went for money a year and a half ago. This is a lot different project. This is a project that is pavement, electrical, simple stuff going on the same footprint. There's very minimal earthwork to get the project done. So you're looking at, instead of a 9-month project, going through, conservation, all this stuff that we had to do for the pool, you're talking, a 4 to 6 month project, best case scenario, where we could actually, if it goes through a town meeting, by winter, first snowfall, we could have this out to bid and be ready to go, as soon as we can in, April, May, however the winter goes.
David?
That was kind of my concern. Is there a shelf life to the grant, or is it use it or lose it? Do they
So it's 2 years.
It's 2 years?
Yeah, so we felt that's plenty of time, and speaking to the architect, like I said, it's between a 4 to 6 month period where we already have everything in place. It's going to be very minimal prep work to get to that point to put it out for bid. So it should move fairly quickly.
Can you
Jerry?
clarify the numbers? I'm hearing 2.1.
Okay.
2.2. The total project.
The total project could go up to 2.6 something.
2.6.
No, 2.6.
2.6. 1.3 million comes from a block grant.
1.3, so that leaves me with.
538,000 comes from Milford ARPA money.
From COVID money, right?
Federal money.
Federal money. And this article is asking for 740, which brings us to the 2.6.
Thank you very much.
Vinnie, question?
Yeah, Jim, do you know that the federal ARPA money has an expiration date on it?
It's the same timeline, ironically.
What is the actual expiration date?
The end of calendar year 26.
Calendar year and not fiscal year?
Calendar year.
End of calendar year 26.
Any other questions on this?
Motion favorable.
Second.
Chris Moran and Jerry, all in favor? Unanimous.
2026.
Okay, now we jump to, well, I'll take one, Article 46.
This looks like a good move.
The Pheno Field project is being passed over.
Yeah, so just to give a little bit on that, so we know it is coming in the future. we received a earmark federal reimbursement grant that Brian Murray went for us for $150,000.
What article, please?
46, 150,000.
Yeah, we're passing over. So I just wanted to give a little history on it, so when we come back, you'll understand it. But $150,000 from the grant we're going to spend. We're meeting with the commissioners. The commissioners are meeting on Thursday this week. We're going to talk about the improvements that need to be done at Pheno Field, because there are improvements. It's a lot more than $150,000, but that $150,000 will sort of get us started. And then once we have some quotes and prices and idea of the whole project to be done, we'll come back to you for the remaining money.
Now, one of the questions that's come up is Pheno Field going to be used by multiple organizations in Milford? Or only the Legion?
No, so right now, we use it for Pop Warner because the annex is closed. So it all depends on how our other fields are scheduled. If it's needed, we'll pull it off, but there are no more goalposts there. So we had taken those out, and we're going to add those to the annex. So that's going to give the Pop Warner an opportunity to have goalposts down there along with soccer nets.
But if lacrosse or soccer desperately needed
If they needed a field, we could make it, yes, as long as it doesn't interfere with the baseball season.
What does that mean?
Yeah, that just sounded like that's baseball first. That's what I just heard.
Well, it is primarily a baseball field, and during the spring and baseball season, it's pretty busy down there
But
between.
summer, fall,
Right, it's more open because there's no baseball.
okay.
So-
Carly?
So 2 questions. One, are you talking about Pheno or Pheno Annex when you're referring
This
to
is Pheno baseball field.
Pheno baseball?
Yes.
And then 2, when we come back and talk about the larger project, which is on for next year, that's going to include more than baseball, all other sports?
That could include, it's the field repairs. It could include bleachers being relocated. It's definitely going to include the buildings that are down there now.
Include turfing and lining for other sports other than baseball?
Turfing, right now, that's not in the plan.
How about use for other sports?
What's that?
Use for other sports.
Use for other sports.
Yeah, so it's a town park, and it's a beautiful resource that could use a refresh, but I just want to make sure that it could be used year-round by a lot of other
Yeah,
sports.
and
I mean, it's
that
a
would be-
baseball facility, but
And that is, as we
We're field
do it now,
constrained.
it's as we need it. It's not set that way, but if we do need it, I'll go to the commission, I'll ask them if they're fine with it, they approve it, we open it up as we did this year for Pop Warner.
I'm seeing Article 46, 47, 48, Arts Commissioners. Okay, and I guess there's one in here that concerns me. It's the one for the feasibility study.
Right.
could we do, can we finish 46 first?
Wait a minute, Jerry, with all due respect, let's finish 46, then
Well,
move.
they're all interconnected in my mind.
This is going to be
Passing it over.
Yeah, we're passing over on the Pheno Field. The skate park isn't really related to the Pheno Field.
Unless somebody objects, it's being passed over. Let's move on. Now, Jerry, 47, feasibility.
The feasibility study is for a skate park, but it doesn't say what, you just,
Right, so I'll explain that. You want to explain?
go ahead.
All right, so we've been meeting with, the commission have been meeting, and myself have been meeting with skate park committee that is looking to put a skate park in Milford. Location isn't determined. The group has done extensive work to present to the commission different locations that they thought would be feasible. In reviewing it, the commission felt that some of the locations may work, but some wouldn't. And in months of meeting with this committee, the commission decided that the best thing to do at this point would to be have a feasibility study for the design, for a proposed location, to come back with 3 or 4 different locations that may work in Milford. Then the commission would review it after that and say, okay, X park would probably be the best out of the 4 that they came up with. Let's move forward with that if that's what the commission chooses. And then we would move forward with that as far as everything else, planning. Obviously, we can't make a make a skate park without property. So we're trying to take the steps in order to get to that point where, okay, now we have a piece of property. Now this is where it's saying it's the best, where whatever it may be, closer to the school or closer to certain parks or different neighborhoods, wherever it may end up. Then we turn around and say, okay, the commission's decided that this is the best place, this is what we're going to go with, and then we move forward with it.
Now, David.
I know this is small dollars, but I hate feasibility studies, but we just did a feasibility study, we awarded a warrant, whatever you call it, for the dog park, right? And my issue is, I just don't know what's happening with that. Like, I might not be looking at the right places, but has anything been going on with the dog park at all?
We never agreed on a
Didn't we at the last town meeting?
Yep.
Thank you. So,
$5,000, it was passed.
so my thing is, when we do feasibility studies.
That was parks. I think that was the ad hoc.
Who was that? Who was that?
Oh, that went through the select
By
board.
the ad hoc dog park committee.
So it's not under parks?
That went,
Oh, that's right, he was supposed to be part of like the advisory group or something
it
like that.
went through the select board.
But is there any update on that? I mean, to me, feasibility.
Oh, we haven't been
Wait a
contacted by
minute,
the
with all
committee.
due respect, this article deals with,
No, I don't
there was
focus.
a lot of interest in the skate park. We had one.
It's like a dog
that fell
We
apart.
have 49 articles.
I think
Now
what
the
David's
question is-
asking is, like, we already approved something for a different park, and it doesn't seem to have gone anywhere.
Exactly, so, right, so.
It's $20,000 as opposed to $5,000, and why the discrepancy?
But
for
with all due
basically-
respect, Lauren, it's not parks.
Right,
It's
that-
not fair to put it on Jim, because it's the ad hoc committee that has the authority for the $5,000.
So, Mr. Chairman, I think the opportunity then is to say, well, first I should admit, I'm probably the only member of the Finance Committee that has a skateboard. Anybody else have one? So, with that in mind, Bobby has one too, so Bobby and I can go skate.
He's a shredder.
So I'm obviously supportive, but the point would be, can you find a mechanism to keep us up to date as you go through the process with the feasibility study? Just because I think it has nothing to do with you.
Absolutely.
But as we go down the path, it is true.
I can do that for
sometimes
everything we do. I can give you guys updates on everything we do, and that's what I try to do, like with the pool. You know, we sort of moved along with the pool, and we kept up with it, and you know, now we're at that point, the groundbreaking, and we're ready to go. I can talk for hours about everything that we're doing, but, you know.
Bobby?
Just a quick comment. I agree with you, Brent. These updates are certainly warranted, but I would put the onus on the subcommittee. The subcommittee's responsibility to keep up with these things, and we have portions of the committee where the subcommittees make reports, so I think that's the proper forum, but you're right.
That's fair.
Am I on that subcommittee?
All encompassing. Okay with that, Dave?
As long as I'm not on that subcommittee, I'm fine with that.
100% Bobby.
Good.
Just so you know, at the capital subcommittee, we did talk about this and said, without a feasibility study or some plan, we don't feel comfortable. You know, if you come to us and say it's going to be $100,000, $200,000 to build a new park, well, how do we know it's the right place, right design, right? So 20 grand, it's a lot of money, but it's short money compared to what they're going to be asking for. So right now, they're asking for 20 grand, which would give them enough money to prepare a plan and come back to the subcommittee, then if it passes that, to this committee. Al, one second.
Just quickly like to wonder whether, in this part of this feasibility, whether any increased potential in town liability in a place like a skate park should be considered as part of that feasibility study, the cost.
Yes, just like a baseball field, just like a football field. Anytime you do any activity.
This is a bit more than baseball field.
No, but there's liability. Mike, you're right, there's liability.
Right.
I don't know that this feasibility study is going to take into consideration.
Oh, but we could find that out. We could find that out.
Okay, wait a minute. Andy, then.
I'm just curious, on the capital committee, when it comes to these recreational projects, is there some sort of prioritizing mechanism or trying to figure out what would be of the most value to the town? Because, I mean, we just approved, what, 1.3 million if you include the ARPA money for the town park and the skate park, and we had the pool upgrades. And, you know, we could come up with an unlimited number of great ideas. I'm just trying to understand what are the guardrails on this from the capital subcommittee standpoint.
I think we've been relying on the department heads to come forward And then
The
if
guardrails.
the viability is there and the funding is available, then it comes to this committee to decide. Because we could absolutely decide, we don't believe a skate park is of any interest. That'd be hard because of the previous history, but it would be up to this committee to prioritize it, not the capital committee.
Well, Mr. Chairman, you're dead on. The department heads are the guardrails. You're exactly right.
David?
So I think we're going to be voting on a comprehensive plan study tonight.
Yes.
Can we put that in there? I mean, so can't that
No.
comprehensive study, let's say,
Combine stuff.
look
No,
at
it
a skate
doesn't
park?
cover feasibility for
Can't
parks.
combine things.
And there's already been
Individual
companies that are
articles.
looked at for this particular feasibility study. There's companies that the committee had brought to the commission for specifically skate parks.
Any other questions?
Any motion, Mr. DeVita?
I'll make a favorable motion. I'll take
I've
it.
used all mine.
Grant with the only skateboard on the committee makes favorable.
I see why you put me in for a half hour now instead of 15 minutes. Like
There
everyone
you
else.
go. Second,
You ain't catching the third period, Jimmy.
Vincenzo.
Why not?
All in favor? Any opposed? Unanimous. Okay. Article 48.
It's the last article, correct?
That's what I have.
Okay, so we've had in our 5-year plan since last year, Commission wanted to, we decided to work on our parking lots. A number of our parking lots are, and this is for specific parks, okay, and I'll list the parks. Plains Park, the big side, Plains Park, the little side, so the full parking at Plains Park. Louisa Lake with the added extension that we had done just recently with the Highway Department. Pheno Field, along with Vadalato, so that whole complex being repaved. And Rosenfeld Park, that whole parking lot being repaved. So those are the parks that we came up with that need the most need. So we were going with $250,000 a year for the next 3 years. In meeting with the subcommittee, and Scott was present, I think Scott's still here too, we went through and started talking about the bids and the prices for asphalt and the work to be done. So right now, the bid that is in ends June 30th of this year. After that, the prices will go up. The bid will be higher. So in discussion with the subcommittee, we came up with a thought that instead of going for 250, 250, 250, and having a chance of it being more money in that third year, where we're going to have to ask for more money because of the price raise, to go for all the money this town meeting in one block amount. Okay, so we had figured between 250 and 750,000. So I asked Scott, because he has more experience in the paving side, to go through, and he made worksheets for each individual park. And with a 10% contingency, we came up with a cost of $535,692. That's at this bid price right now that we have up until June 30th. Scott felt if we did put it out for bid right after town meeting, if it were to get approved, that it is possible to get these done by June. And then it would cost $535,000. If we were to do it the other way, it could reach that $750,000 or more, depending on how much the prices go, which we can't tell.
Scotty was pretty comfortable saying the price will go up. The next state bid will be significantly higher, like at least 9%. So we started looking at, should we spend the money this year or wait for 3 years? It was $70,000 savings. So it made a lot more sense to the subcommittee, since we're fortunate to have the money, to save 70 grand and do it all at once. Chris?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Scotty, I know we've done stuff in the past where we've committed to, yeah, we're going to give you business for 3 years, just, you're going to keep the price the same. Is that like off the table now with things going crazy with interest rates, oil, all that kind of stuff? Because I know in the past, and I mean, maybe I'm dating myself, but we would say to someone, hey, we'll give you the deal for 3 years, and it's going to be $250, $250, and we're not raising the price versus up front. So am I wrong? Am I crazy?
I have in there, we can do a 3-year carryover, up to 3 years.
That's my point,
So I can
okay.
hold one bid for 3 years.
Thank you.
If the vendors are willing to do that. So in the paving world, our vendors been good. They're on their last year. They've kept the same price for 3 years.
Okay.
So their contract will run out June 30th. And then I have to rebid it. And at that time, it's gonna go through the roof, because I'm probably paying the. End of 3. For asphalt delivered and spread, if I'm paving a road, they come in for $64 a ton and they put the asphalt down. That's unheard of. I mean, it's $70, $80 a ton right now.
So, like, Scotty, I'm an idiot. You know this. I'm a stupid cameraman. My point is, I mean, you can lock that in for 3 years. So the point is, you just don't have anyone who wants to lock it in for 3 years.
Well, we do have
Is that
someone
correct?
that locked in, but like I said, they've locked in for 3 years, so in June 30th, it's over. I have to rebid it on June 30th. So that's.
What's the bid? What is the 3-year bid that we need to meet at June 30th?
I mean, price-wise?
Yes, because you're asking me for 250, 250, 250.
No, but Chris, I think what he's saying is if we do it all now,
It's 535.
it's 535. If we wait,
It could be a lot more.
Well, that's why I'm asking, what is if we just do a third, with them holding the contract?
Well-
Because we've had that in the past.
The problem is the contract is up no matter
This is
what.
the third
June
year.
30th, we're in the third year.
Has to be rebid.
Has to be
Has to be rebid.
But that was our past projects. This is a new project.
It's not by project, it's by year.
Oh, then I
We lock in the
apologize.
prices for a full year.
Then I apologize.
so
So
we're looking.
that you as a town with an
750,
asphalt
which is the
person.
worst case.
My
But
mistake.
we're really hoping for
My mistake.
535, and the rest would come back.
Right.
Any other questions?
With free cash at the amount that it is, come on.
I assume they're all of like equal severity issues or there's an economies of scale concept where it makes sense to do all 5 on here versus say we keep it to a smaller number and we only do 3 of the 5.
Right, so Plains Park is, so there's been work done to them over the years. Plains Park's 23 years old now. Scott has sealed it. When they come and do the roads, he's come in and sealed it. You know, it's like, sort of like a Band-Aid, and it doesn't look too nice. On top of that, the lining is part of this article also, which some of it may be able to be done in-house, but we may have to hire some of it out. So that's, you know, sort of the cost also. But if you go down Vadalato, Pheno Field, it's potholes that we've been filling for years. That's a very wet area, so it gets a lot of water. Once you have a crack, it just starts blowing up everywhere. Rosenfeld, there's been sort of some expansion over the years, like a makeshift parking lot.
Roosevelt's coming with an expansion too, though. when we
Right.
pave it. So we will be increasing the size of Roosevelt.
That whole left-hand side, that stone dust
That's
now?
stone dust. And the same with Louisa Lake. So the work that was done at Louisa Lake, you know, a few months ago that expanded that parking lot to another 18 or 20 spots. Right now, that's temporary line. That's not the layout. Scott and Liz are actually working on the drainage for the finished product. So we weren't going to pave that now to have to dig it up if we were going to, you know, have to do all the drainage.
That half of Louisa is very sizable. You're doubling the parking lot there.
Well, we're at an 18
I mean,
spot.
pretty close,
Yeah,
pretty
so we're
darn
going
close.
54 to 86,
In the
yeah.
draft report that you got emailed today, it actually lists what Jim provided, each parking lot and the size.
The square footage, yeah.
The square footage, to put in perspective.
And then I also have these, which I could send to you that everyone can have with the cost
That would be good, because
of
I'd
each
like
one,
Paul to
which
post
comes to the total of 535, 562.
So,
Five.
do we have any more questions?
So Plains is actually 2 lots, but it's 1 location.
How about a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Mr. Chair, I think we need a number. I had 5, I'm hearing 535.
I heard 535.
I heard 535 twice.
750 is the number that's being asked for.
So I'd rather go, I mean, I know we were going up for 750. If we're gonna go that way, I'd like to go with the 750 and then, you know.
With the agreement that if whatever comes in is not going to be reallocated, not going to be expanded.
I'd rather do that than have to come back and say, hey, I need another 50,000 or another
scope of
70,000.
work, though, right?
You're going to clear
Same scope
an
of work,
article
you're not
for
changing.
750, and then you're going to go out for a bid? Do you know what the bid is going to be?
No, it's already out to bid.
It's already out to bid.
It is.
He got the bid,
So it's the town bids.
You got the bid come in already. You know,
it's a-
you're looking for hard 535 right now, right?
Right. Yeah.
You're not really going to be subjected to 750.
Right.
Why would you be subjected to 750 in this article? I don't
Mike's
understand.
100% right. Just like why we don't negotiate contracts and tell them how much the raise is before we give them the raise.
Well, the one thing I would say is 750 may be too high,
All
but I
right.
wouldn't go for 535 in case.
So
give
how
you
about
6.
550 then? We can just go 550. 15,000 over? That's, I mean, Scott has a 10% contingency figured.
He already got
10% contingency on that.
Oh, okay.
Still, I don't think I would go 600.
That's my point.
Because you
Give
don't know
us
what you're
6.
going to hit. You never know what you're running.
600?
600.
I move favorable 600.
Exactly. Second on that.
Discussion, Mr. Chairman?
Bobby?
I'm going to come down on the other side of the argument. We have a set bid price, if I understand that correctly. You have estimates by the highway surveyor who has a tremendous amount of knowledge and history in that area. You've got a 10% contingency. What's wrong with coming back and saying, I need 20,000? I am opposed to anything above the 535. That's all, thank you.
Ooh, I dig your thinking.
That's just,
Questions?
so you've made a motion, motion's on the floor.
Motion's on the floor for 600.
Can I amend that, though, can just say within the same scope?
What does that mean?
Saying that because you have extra cash, that we don't go outside the scope of work.
No, that's what I just asked.
Oh, you did ask that?
That's why
Oh,
I
yeah,
want their
we'll-
commitment that says, if we put up 600 or whatever,
yeah.
and it comes in at 550, that 50 comes back.
Right.
You can't expand and now add.
Expand the scope of work.
I'm not going to
Well,
bid
can I
550.
just throw one other thing
I'm
out
gonna
there
bid
that we
600.
really, you guys didn't talk about? There is, Mass DOT allows contractors to charge overage if liquid asphalt goes above 5% of what the bid cost was. We're actually below it right now, but if it goes above it, we pay anything that's 5% higher, we have to pay. So the price can deviate a little bit, not
But at
extremely.
600, wouldn't you say
I
we're
think
rather safe?
that's enough, that's enough.
Does there happen to be a war in the Middle East right now? I don't know anything about
Yeah,
that.
again, I mean,
I
we
have
don't
no
know.
idea. Did anyone see about that?
So we should be safe at 600.
I would think so.
Yeah,
If not, we can come back.
Yeah. Okay, we got a
600.
motion. Who seconded the motion?
Jerry did.
I made the motion.
Jerry made the motion, but
Second, you second.
who seconded it?
I don't know who seconded it.
I'll second it for 600,000.
Okay.
Thank you.
All in favor? Any opposed?
Get 2.
2 opposed. Bobby and Michael.
You can't park there.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Now we have
Just kidding.
Dr. Valani here.
Can you do Chris in this, please?
Get
Okay,
Pill out
Chris.
of here, please.
Here, I just moved.
Oh, there you are. You're hiding back there. You always sit over there.
What's your number, Pillar?
I don't know,
Is this the last one?
20-something?
A lot of confidence in your voice right there.
You got 20.
I'm a yes now. You don't even know what article you are.
25. The first one's 25.
25 is the bylaw change, town fund
You're
investment.
lucky you're good looking,
Yeah,
Pillar.
You're on.
Yeah, so we already have this bylaw voted. It's a Mass General Law. It was voted. It's the prudent investor rule, and that's for our OPEB account. In July, the governor signed the new budget. She also signed an amendment to Chapter 44 and Section 54 that allows the treasurer and the trustees to use the prudent investor rule for trust funds. So I'm asking to amend our bylaws and readopt Chapter 44, Section 54, and Section 26 of Chapter 28 of the Acts of 2023.
Move favorable.
Second.
Jerry and David, any questions? All in favor? Sold.
Article 29. So Article 29 is seeking to resend $2 million of the authorized and unissued bonds for the Field Pond Sewer Project that we voted on, I believe, a year ago at the special town meeting. And in May, we voted to withdraw $2 million out of the sewer stabilization to offset the bonding. So this is just a cleanup of that bonding. So the bonding authorization will be going from $4.4 million down to $2.4 million.
Move favorable.
Second.
Jerry and Andy. Any questions? All in favor?
Perfect.
Sold.
Thanks, guys.
Have a good night, Bill. Thanks for hanging around, man.
Okay, let's get some of these general. Now, as we have in the past years, we're going to go through a few articles. If we have enough votes to recommend favorable, we will not bring in the department head. If we don't have enough votes for favorable recommendation, we will not vote on it, and we will bring the department head in, give them the respect they deserve to discuss their articles. Anybody have objections to that?
I think it's a perfect delivery, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Number one, Dr. Valani, ADA improvement plan. For the past years, we've put $150,000 in your care to dole out to municipal and school ADA improvements.
Correct, 50,000 per department.
Well, whichever way you dole it out, but it's been 150 total.
Correct, yep.
Same number?
Same number.
Correct.
favorable.
Article number 1.
150, move favorable.
Second.
Okay. All in favor? Okay, any opposed?
I didn't oppose it.
The motion,
She was the
made the
motion. I
motion.
hope you're not.
not sure.
I know you get confused from time to time, Jerry, but I'm just saying.
Okay,
Who seconded it?
Mike Nicholson.
Mike seconded it for 150,000.
Article number 9.
Did we do 6, or we just did
One, we did one.
Amend the bylaws.
the changing of the
Okay, we
industrial?
can do 6.
It's up to you.
No, that's fine. I was going through the obvious ones that were you. I
Shouldn't we refer that
didn't
to
look at the
sponsor?
details.
Yeah, I can, again, we're just changing the
Yeah, but we still
Industrial
got to talk
Development
about it.
Commission to the Economic.
Article 6.
Yeah, changing the IDC, Industrial Development Commission, to the Economic Development Commission. Obviously, no money impact here. It's just going to broaden the powers of that commission.
Refer to sponsor.
Just presenting it. Whatever you choose to do is fine with me.
My motion refer to sponsor.
Oh, God, for the 8th time tonight, I agree with
This
Jerry.
is similar to the geriatric authority changing the
Move on.
countryside. Nothing changed, just the name.
Just changing the name.
So we have a motion
New Coke.
to refer to sponsor. Do we have a second?
Second.
Vinnie, second. Jerry Hyatt.
And it's refer to sponsor, it's not approval.
It's refer to sponsor.
Are we doing that now, referring to sponsor
Sure.
That's what the motion is.
for this town meeting cycle?
That's what the motion is.
No, but I remember before, wasn't there some discussion that we couldn't do that anymore?
Yeah, but Jerry's retired.
Doesn't
And
involve money.
The previous barrister suggested that the FinCom take a position on every article, regardless of it being financial or not. It's up to the committee.
We just did take a position.
yeah, it's exactly right, Mr. DeVita.
I'm fine with that, if that's the way.
All in favor?
Seconded.
Mike Nicholson.
Drag this thing to the mud.
Okay, number 9.
Yes, if you remember Article 39 of the 2022 special town meeting, money was appropriated to repair certain elevators in certain buildings. The article itself was very specific. We have money left in that article. We now have elevator needs and upgrades at Town Hall and Memorial Hall. So I want to repurpose or reuse the rest of that money so that I can handle the elevator upgrades in those two buildings.
And we never specified the exact scope of the work as to which elevators and
Well,
how.
unfortunately, in '22, we did. So therefore, I need a new article now
Now,
so that
you
I
gotta
can
come
use
back and
it
say,
here
I
in
wanna use
Memorial
it
Hall.
How much money's left?
50 to 58.
How much?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I meant to get the exact figure, I forgot. It's right around 50,000.
Somewhere in there.
Is that what you need to fix this?
That's
It's within the amount, yeah.
Yes.
Make a motion.
David Levine, Carly second. Any discussion? All in favor? Sold. Chris, close your ears. Article 10. You've asked, as you can tell, our Director of IT to take on a lot more responsibility.
Jerk.
They don't have the personnel board yet.
We're looking to move his pay grade up a notch.
That's correct. As is very evident in listening to Chris tonight, he has taken on a tremendous role at the police department. Obviously, just the article he talked about tonight. He has also taken and received certain certifications that he could explain better to you
Well, I
than
think
I.
the key is, we see him in the planning process. What we don't see is him being involved evaluating, preparing for actual police work. So moving him up could be a whopping up to, I estimated, $2,000 a year.
That's it?
It's something.
I wanted to put the number in, Bobby, because immediately people say, well, you're raising his pay to $1 million, or, no, we're raising his pay by less than, but it could be as high as $2,000.
This did go through the personnel board process that we have for grading positions.
Is that number right?
I'm sorry?
Is that change in grade, the number he just,
Chris, you gave me the
I don't have the
number.
exact number, but
It
yes.
changes a new grade, which gives opportunity for growth.
Yeah.
But in the,
but in the scheme of things.
is higher.
You know, it's going to raise his pay by $2,000.
The impact of this in this year will be
This
around-
year.
This
It's
year.
a 10-step process, so there'll be
Favorable.
steps to go. Yeah.
And I'm just confused, because I've never seen this before in a town meeting article, and nothing against Chris, but what makes him so special?
So I'll take that one. So I believe everyone knows, at the annual town meeting, Article 2 sets the salaries of everyone that's non-union or non-contract. So at the time of the last annual, it was set at 13. Subsequently went to the personnel board to get approval. They did approve to go to grade 14, but it does take a town meeting action to move that
Because we're
grade.
amending that Article 2, the wage and salary plan.
Yeah, just keep in mind, this is not the person, it's the position.
It's the
So
position.
It's irrelevant of whatever Chris is doing.
This is true.
So this is the position that's.
There you go.
oh, irrelevant one. Okay, guys, let's keep going. Do it. Chris?
And Mr. Chairman, I'm actually going to say the exact opposite of Mr. Almadanza, and I think Rick said it perfectly. We have a member of our team that is actually transforming our town, that has become one of the most important people in our town. Stop it. You are. And I'm sorry that you're bashful. I'm not bashful about saying it. Just like I'm not with Robbie about being chief. You are one of the most important people in our town. You should be sitting up. Well, they're the most important, but you're a close second. You do. But seriously, we are in a position where IT is of the utmost importance in everything we talk about. We talk about upgrading things to the police department, the library, everything. Do you understand where that trail always ends back? It ends back at him.
saying the finance
Okay.
committee report about.
Yeah, I'm 100%
Motion.
support. I signed off on it, so.
I'm just saying, Rick, yeah, it's
I'll
like a,
endorse it, yeah.
David Levine, second. All in favor? Any opposed? Unanimous. Okay, again, we'll discuss this. This is a new one, Article 8. It's security gates for Walden Woods. Apparently, we have, and again, if we don't get a favorable movement tonight, we'll have the Conservation Commission come forward. But that area, there's trucks going in, dumping rubbish and not good things in the
Yes.
Walden Woods area.
That's the issue here. We have conservation land up there also. So what's happening, unfortunately, is trucks are backing in there, and I hate
So
to
they're
say it.
asking for 20 grand to put in basically a barrier.
It'll be under the, it'd be under the jurisdiction of Scotty at the Highway Department.
But the idea is it'll keep trucks from going into Walden Woods area and dumping
I was
junk.
surveyor for the acquisition and
Into public land?
Huh?
Into our lands?
Our land.
Can you just clarify where it is?
Hold on, guys.
Walden Way Wood Road, I believe that's in Haven. I believe that's right by where that building burned down a year or so ago before you go up the hill. So Haven Street, there's a left-hand turn that goes by the Rod and Gun Club, and you go up the hill straight into the woods there. That must be what we're talking about?
Again, not my article. I'll do the
Spectators
best I
nodding
can.
their heads as if they,
Same area, yes, across the street from the fire.
Okay.
90-degree turn in the road.
Yeah, but if
Any
you go,
questions?
I know exactly where it's
I'll make a motion then.
Vinnie, second?
I'll second it.
Jerry, second. All in favor? Vinnie. For 20 grand. Okay.
Is this, okay, never mind. I don't think-
Yeah, we voted.
It's unanimous.
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 Okay. Rick, do you want to take on, we got 3 personnel board articles.
I voted, yes.
I mean, they're pretty straightforward. Vacation accrual, number 11.
Didn't we bring the personnel board in?
Well, that's the question. Are we going to bring them in to talk about articles that I don't think are going to be controversial at all?
I agree with you, Mr. Chairman.
I mean, the Article 11, the first paragraph is pretty much what it says. Permanent, full-time, permanent benefit eligible, part-time.
I guess my question is, are we increasing benefits?
No.
No.
A lot of this has to do
A lot of it's more clarification and language-based than no increase in benefits. Absolutely not.
All right.
Motion?
Well, are you covering all 3 articles here? Or what?
We're doing, we got to do them one by each.
11.
Number 11.
Are we doing 11?
We're doing 11.
Motion for 11.
Second by Vinnie. All in favor? So we don't need to bring them in for that, that's a favorable. Number 12, sick leave. Now, again, my understanding is this is not increasing, decreasing, it's clarifying when you can use your 5 days sick leave, up to 5 days sick leave for you, your family, etc.
Yeah, it's basically, the only extension here is now you can use it a certain amount for immediate family members.
Mr. Chairman, we're
I'm
not-
taking care of my mother, I'm taking care of my
Right,
brother.
you're
something like
clarifying
that.
when you can use it, but it's still the same number.
Yes.
Correct. No
Mr. Chairman, we're not in the paperwork business. Motion favorable.
Second it.
So Moran and Jerry Hyatt, all in favor?
Full-time employees.
Sold.
Benefit check.
Favorable. Number 12. This is always a wonderful one.
Gonna let Zach explain that one then.
Explain, but it sounds like this clarifies.
Brief.
13, sorry, 13.
13.
This clarifies that if you work 20 hours a week, you can get full benefits.
More than 20 hours, so 21.
More-
Yeah.
20.1 hours a week.
Yeah, we're just clarifying, going with you up to 32.
13.
Doesn't say that there.
Yes, it does.
It says it on the one,
This is the policy that's in effect now?
what he said today.
20 hours gets you full benefits?
Over 20, so 21.
Oh, like 20.1.
Yeah, so basically, we're just trying to clarify by taking it in line with Chapter 32B, which is the retirement law.
This is non-union personnel? Or is this union or what?
Are we talking about the same article?
Personnel.
Yes, to see if the town will vote to amend Section 1.6, definitions of the personnel bylaws, added the following definition. Benefit eligible employees refer to Mass General Law 32B, Section 2, or take any other action.
Which is over 20 hours.
Yeah, that's exactly.
All of that means nothing to me. That's why in the FinCom report, it says, this clarifies that if you work 20 hours a week or in excess of 20 hours a week, you're eligible for full benefits.
Doesn't say that.
Jerry, I didn't write the black. I wrote the purple and the blue.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Adding the reference to Mass General Law so anybody can look it up and see exactly what it says.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
In line with
Don't write
Mass
that
General
down.
Law.
Okay, we're really not changing anything here, gentlemen.
Exactly.
Ladies.
Favorable by Jerry, second by Carly. All in favor?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, jump to 17. Let's see if we can take care of the sewer department. The sewer department has a 20-year-old jet truck. We are not buying a personal jet for the sewer. Basically, you'll see all the explanation, but this is a truck that they use to empty certain sections of the town sewer system when they...
And they,
Oh, please.
yeah. It's to replace a truck that is 23 years old. They cannot get parts to replace the truck when it breaks down. The high-pressure jet truck is akin to buying a fire truck. You don't like to spend the money, but this truck is used to take care of backups or potential backups in your sewer system. So, again, it's like a fire truck. You don't want to spend the money, but boy, if you need it, you want it. And it's 23 years old, you can't get parts for it, and
In my understanding, this is used for
emergencies, and it's done for
but
some,
it's also
preventive
part of
maintenance.
the annual maintenance.
Maintenance, yes.
Because certain sections of the town need pumped out, and this truck, I don't know why we call it a jet truck, but...
Basement is an emergency.
Question.
And that is $350,000.
Question, is sewer is an enterprise fund? Does sewer pay for this out of its own fund?
This all comes out of...
nothing.
Let's be real clear. This all comes out of the ratepayers who have sewer.
Exactly. Cost
So
the
if you
town
don't
nothing.
have sewer, you're not being charged one penny
The town,
for
nothing.
this truck.
Exactly.
This comes out of their retained earnings, their checkbook.
Yes,
Correct.
correct.
Right. But what goes into their checkbook is
What bothers me
only
about
sewer.
this article immensely is this says from available funds,
There's a-
taxation.
There's a word taxation that in our report, you'll see me call out saying, they are not taxing
We need
anybody.
to amend this on town meeting floor.
This is just the article, the motion will read retained earnings.
Right.
Yes.
Remember, there are specific motions that will be read, they'll include dollar amounts.
The amounts, everything else.
So this
Everything
will be
gets
one that
specific
will be
at the reading.
fine-tuned.
Is the motion identical to what was published? No.
Exactly.
You have to read the entire motion because it's going to be changed.
Exactly, Mr. Chairman.
You clarify that.
Because that word taxation stuck out like a sore thumb.
You gotta really-
Okay, we have Carly making the motion,
Second.
Jerry being second.
I second.
All in favor? So unanimous.
Favorable motion.
Favorable, yes. Okay, number 18,
Yeah, just the-
the town meeting study committee. It was put in place, it served its purpose.
Reno says
Now
it's, Reno
being
says it's
dissolved.
time, yes.
Reno says he's all done?
No, no, he didn't say that. Please don't.
Oh,
He'll be back.
Well, wait a minute, if
We
we're
won.
dissolving the committee,
It's, yes.
Well, you cannot refer to committee on this one.
Nicholson, that a boy. The Jay Leno Award tonight goes to Mike Nicholson.
woke him up, okay.
I think we should have him come in, give us a presentation.
Well, that's up to you,
Oh, that would be fantastic, 'cause I got 3 hours to kill.
How many hours? No, okay.
Move favorable, let's go.
Jerry went favorable, do we have a second?
Second.
Lauren went second. All in favor? Done. Okay.
Can we do 19?
We did 19.
You did 19.
Yeah, she's.
Hey, an unpaid bill?
Yeah, that's the $10,000 we talked about.
Earlier.
Well, you were out of the building. Okay, number 20. This is,
If I sneeze,
yeah,
jump $1 million.
this is $103,000.
Yes,
This is the same report that we did, I want to say,
20-plus years ago.
20 years ago?
Somewhere before my time, yeah.
it's a comprehensive redevelopment plan that needs to be updated. It served the town providing development ideas for industrial and commercial areas, as well as for the Milford downtown. The total cost is $170,000, but they got a discount grant, whatever you want to call it. So the cost to the town is $103.
Has anybody ever seen it?
Larry Duncan swears that this is his Bible.
Yeah, this was all emailed out.
That makes me feel safe.
Yeah,
Oh, stop.
that's all right.
Any questions?
So,
Never seen.
I know it's been 20 years since our last comprehensive plan, but did anything come out of it? Like, what do we do with it? I mean, I'm just trying to figure out if this is like, we have a town planner, we have a planning board. What are we gonna do with this for $107,000, what are we doing?
Put it on a shelf.
Exactly. I don't recommend.
If we don't feel comfortable, we'll put it off and have Larry come in.
Yeah, because I just don't know what I mean. The town looks the same 20 years ago.
Come in on the last Thursday night?
Now, we'll have the chair of the planning board,
What's that?
if that's what you'd like.
Well, my house looks better.
Jump to 22.
Turn the air conditioning.
20, we just decided to ask Larry to come in. 21, the youth center will come in next.
Yeah, you have it
meeting.
scheduled, yeah.
They're scheduled. 22, the Board of Assessors. Basically, again, all the details are in the Finance Committee version, but we don't have a vehicle for them to use. We've been asking the staff to use their own cars, which causes issues. One, liability, that they're out doing town business in personal cars. But two, it's also getting in the way of hiring people, because more and more towns supply an assessor's vehicle. And we've had people not want to come to Milford employment because they don't want to use their own cars.
Dollar, Al?
Hold on, yes, sir.
22.
50 grand.
For what? What are you gonna buy, a Cadillac?
Is it hybrid?
It's 50.
That's ridiculous.
50 grand.
Is that a not to exceed 50 grand?
Oh, yeah. I mean, once you put a number on
Where'd
it.
that number come from?
The assessors.
Way online. You're gonna buy a four-door passenger vehicle to drive around and do assessments?
I would think.
We have this person come in?
Yeah, let's have him come in, please.
Okay. Come in.
I know this business better than that.
23.
Yes, this is to install new flooring, carpet tiles at the police station. The amount is $82,000. If you've been in the police station recently, you can see they're worn. They certainly need to be replaced. And the total cost is about $76,000. I'm looking for $82,000 just to be safe.
And again, this is if it comes in at 76, we get it back.
So make a motion to accept.
Vinnie, motion.
I'll second.
Jerry, second. All in favor? Sold. Fire collective bargaining. The treasurer is estimated that to take care of last year and this year, the difference in their contract is $550,000.
And I'll ask if I could take that up tomorrow. I'm still tweaking the numbers. It'll be right there for the 2 years, but I'd like to have an exact figure.
What number was that, Al?
That was 26,
Yeah.
You said it's
Let me
500,000?
take that up tomorrow, please.
550.
Thereabout.
Well, we can give you around 550 and have you clean it up tomorrow.
Yes.
Motion?
Motion.
Mike Nicholson, second.
Second.
Jerry, all in favor?
Can I ask what the motion was? Because he asked to talk about
Collective
tomorrow.
bargaining.
I know, but he asked to do it tomorrow. So what was
550.
technically the motion?
550.
550 to fund it, but I'm a little unsure about what time span.
Mr. Chairman, I mean, he could come back tomorrow and say 430,
23,
or he could say 580. I think maybe we should
Okay, we can hold off.
give it 24 hours.
Here tomorrow.
Just my opinion, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, I'll be here.
Fire training building. Everybody remember the burn building?
Yeah.
This is number 27.
24 hours.
For $37,500. I mean, obviously, ha-ha, tee-hee, why do you burn the building and have to repair it?
Mr. Chairman, they're building a set of apartments right behind that, so I don't know.
Hope they don't have vinyl siding.
Well, Vinnie, it's been there forever. They've used it for training forever, never had any problems. They need a
They
place
never
to
had
train.
apartments there before either.
I think the goal is to put the fire out.
I mean, I don't mind, but
Really?
The building is solid concrete, isn't
I'm
it?
buying stock in marshmallows.
Yeah,
That's
but
all I
apparently
guess.
when you light it on fire and run people up and down, it wears on the building, even if it's...
That simulates real world then. What do you want to do, make it nice and tidy?
I would like to live next door.
They need a place to train. Bobby?
Just a question, if the subcommittee has the answer to it, that's fine. At one point, we were allowing other towns to utilize that building.
Great call.
We were going to collect a fee. Are we collecting the fee, A, and B, are other towns using this
I
facility?
asked the question, are other towns still using the building? And the answer was yes. Do we charge for it? No, because it's under mutual aid. Like, they don't charge us when we need an extra fire truck from the next town over.
Why do we charge them?
Nor do we, but that's it.
But this one here is a little different. Because the commitment was made, probably not by this chief, but
Can we continue tomorrow night?
I mean, help offset the cost. So,
It's not gonna happen, I agree with you, Bobby, it's never happened.
hate to use the
That
word
is-
user fee.
Bobby, just not gonna happen, but I agree with you.
Every time this comes up, we ask the question, can we charge?
Exactly,
And
Mr.
the
Chairman.
chief has always said, no, it's under mutual aid, and it's only 37 grand. I think the last time was many years ago that we,
Why isn't this part of his budget?
because he told us that it doesn't come up.
Because it could last
Can't-
15 years, it could last 12
3
years.
Could last 5 years.
Exactly.
He can't predict when he needs the money.
I don't want him putting in something into a budget that could maybe
Just
last.
put it in the budget, fix it as part of the budget process, and then back it out the following year.
Yeah, the problem is, most of the time when we put them in, we never
Cost
back
us
it
an extra
out.
20,000 a
We
year.
don't back it out.
We don't back it out.
I'm just trying to, there's just too many articles on town meeting. It's
Yep.
out of control. And it's just like.
Any other questions?
Just to be clear, this is a phase one.
Second on too many articles?
We'll get it.
Guys, please.
This is a phase one that will get it structurally sound. The biggest issue is water coming in and penetrating, cracking, freezing, stuff like that. So we fix this. It still can't be burned. It could be used for training from other aspects, but the fire chief at a future date will be coming forward for.
But this is the burn building.
Yes.
It is.
But it doesn't burn.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Right now, it can,
Not
they can
yet.
use it for.
We're going to have to spend money to upgrade it to burn it down.
They can pipe in smoke now and certain other conditions they can create, but not.
I love government.
I'll make a motion. Oh, Carly,
Vinnie, second. All in favor? Sold.
We're repairing a burn building. that
Article
can't
26,
burn.
we're putting it off till tomorrow.
I'm gonna bring it up in a couple of months.
Okay, Article 30. Again, maintenance item,
That it works.
replacing the lighting.
LED
Street.
lighting. Yeah. LED lighting, interior, exterior, similar to the library project we did a couple of years ago. Yep.
Way to go.
Yep, exactly.
Motion.
Michael?
Dollar amount?
Yep, the figure.
Hold on.
45,000.
45,000.
Is there a rebate involved in that, Jack?
30. Yeah, it's 45,000. I don't know that. I don't know that.
'Cause I didn't know if this was before or after rebate.
Doing your favorite.
I'm not sure.
We asked and they said this is net to Milford, so I don't,
Yeah,
it's a legitimate question. Was it higher than 45 and we got a rebate down to 45? But my understanding is it's 45 Milford dollars.
I'll second the motion.
So who was the?
Mike.
Mike and Vincenzo. All in favor? Sold. Okay. $32, this is one you can take up. Replenish the compensated absences.
So this is a special revenue fund that we have established. It was adopted by town meeting 6-7 years ago. We've been funding it $250,000 when necessary. Usually lasts 3 years, but it's very unpredictable. This has to do primarily with sick buyback, which is at this time the police and fire union only. It is eligible for both those unions for vacation as well, but the big number is sick. You could have in 1 year a couple really large ones, and that's what's happened over the past couple of years. Right now, there is approximately,
100,430.
there are some projected retirements that will be coming down. They could be as high as 40,000 apiece, so two could deplete us down. Would like to replenish with
When was the last time we replenished it, Brownie?
3 years ago.
Yeah, it's been about 3 years.
Was it 250 we put in there?
Yeah, 3 years ago.
So the 250 should carry us at least a couple more years on top of the 100.
It should. We saw a big wave of retirements. I don't think we're
Okay,
going
but I
to.
just want to make sure we're safe. Chris?
Mr. Chairman, just to that point, we already know that we're going to diminish this fund with those figures in 3 years. I think maybe we should reconsider the amount that we're doing of 250, and maybe knowing that it's already going to be, we already know that that's going to be depleted, maybe that number should be moved to 350. Just throwing it out there, because we already know we're already going to spend it, and Brownie has already told us that money's already gone.
But if we're eating up 80 a year on average.
But that's not what Brownie just told us.
No, but he said there'll be 80 coming up. So that'll be an average year, and we'll have 250 on top of that, just in case.
Yeah, but that's...
I appreciate what you said, but given the overall structure, I think 250 would be
Right.
good for now.
If you're cool with that, but my point is, you know what I'm saying.
I do, understood.
Do we have a motion?
Chris, I'm going to renegotiate the contract.
Motion, Carly. Second, Mike Nicholson. All in favor? Sold. Okay, fire rescue truck from the subcommittee. This has been on the capital plan.
Yeah.
And the idea was the fire rescue truck goes out instead of engine one. So you're burning up miles on a $133,000 truck versus a $700,000 truck.
Mr. Chief.
We need a fire rescue truck. The only question is, do we use engine one or do we use the fire rescue truck? Seems a lot more efficient to burn up a $133,000 truck.
The subcommittee voted?
Yes.
We did. Make it favorable.
Grant favorable, Carly second. Any questions?
Is this an additional vehicle for the fire department?
The one they have is starting to wear out, and this was to replace it.
I think ultimately, they probably would, for a while, try to use two of them, but remember, these are the pickup trucks that have a lot of gear on them. What they're saying is you want to, as the nature of their calls change, well, it's a rescue truck, but it's a built-out pickup truck chassis.
I love this.
$133,000. We want those running around at high
It's not
velocity,
the
truck.
650.
We're buying him.
It's not engine one.
It's fine.
Okay, all in favor?
133.
Any opposed? No? Sold.
You really can. Not even voting.
Article 34, doggy air conditioning.
Yeah, this is at the Animal Control Building. The amount they're looking for is $40,000. Need to replace the entire system, the furnace, the condensers, ductwork, outdoor condenser, et cetera. The quote I have that you have in front of you is $34,816. I did try to update it, and it's going to be a little bit more, but the 40 should cover it.
Rick, is this an HVAC system?
Yes, yeah, yes.
Move favorable for 40,000.
Second.
Who was second? David?
It's fine.
Oh, Lauren.
It's fine.
Lauren was second. All in favor of doggy air conditioning? Any opposed? If you do, you'll get bitten by the doggies.
That's a lot of money.
Mike?
Mike and Lauren.
What's that? You said it's a lot of money?
Yes, it is.
Because you obviously don't have a
Why
dog.
are you replacing the ductwork?
This is full of dog hair.
Dogs ask for it.
I just put in an AC system in a rental property, $4,100 from scratch.
After the air conditioning.
Where do you get $40,000 to replace an existing HVAC?
I replaced one of my condensers and air handlers. It was over $10,000. And that's only one.
Well, you probably got a 20-year-old Freon in
We're
it.
going to have one coming down the road for the senior center. Where do you see that one? So, not to,
It's already been
Way to tee it up, Ricky. Way to tee it up.
sorry.
Okay. It's, again, the capital subcommittee has been watching the fire vehicles. Every so many years, we rotate the fire vehicles. The chief gets the vehicle, then his vehicle gets passed down to the assistant chief and et cetera. $75,000. This is the big SUV that serves as a command post when there's a fire.
It's normally a Suburban or a Ford.
Yeah, it's one of those big ones. Because we asked,
Is it top?
It's on the drawing, all the says on there.
well, we asked, I think it was TUI Rev 2, but it could have been TUI Rev 1, about why do you need, because people ask, why do you need the Suburbans and all? And he walked through how much gear he carries.
Yeah, so you can get it from
So
point A
when
to
he
point
shows
B.
up, he's the command center.
I'm familiar with it.
Make a motion. Gotta do that.
David, motion.
Move favorable.
Carly,
36.
36.
36.
Yeah.
All in favor? Okay. Well, 37, here's a real quick one. The school committee's coming in tomorrow, so we could wait on that, but basically,
Made the motion, do you know?
Me and
David
Lauren.
Levine.
I don't know.
I think it was Dave.
Yeah, I want my name in the notes. I just,
David and
37 deals with the new turf field we have. There's a couple issues up there. Number one is that kids are riding their bikes over the hill right through the turf field, and eventually that's going to wear it out and hurt us.
Al, do you want to clarify, you're talking about Woodland and not the high school turf field?
Woodland, sorry. Woodland turf
Not the
field.
newest turf field, the,
Put in last.
We have a turf field in Woodland. The school committee is asking for a fence around that field to keep the kids from riding their bikes through it and hurting that turf field. Number two, they're asking for the netting at one end of the field, because when the kids kick the ball high, wide, it goes into the briar patch, and they got to send kids into the brush, and that's not a healthy thing. The killer is
kick better.
fence, $150,000.
a BB gun fortification, $25,000. Problem solved.
I think the taxpayers would take issue with shooting their children.
Put dogs in.
Agree, Mr.
Or
Chairman.
biting and having their children bitten when they come through by attack dogs. Now, tomorrow, the school committee's coming here. We can wait until they come in and explain it, but the essence is,
Let's have them wait.
Can I just ask a quick question on that, though? Was there any money given back when the school was built?
On the what?
When the school was, Woodland's a new school, right?
Yeah.
So was there any money that was given back?
We spent it.
We spent everything?
We spend it.
I thought we borrowed less when you,
I thought there was some
when
cleanups at
Woodland
the-
was,
Yeah.
I mean, this 150.
we didn't get money back.
There was some
We spent less. So this 150 can
litigation money, but that was-
justify that.
It's pocket change.
Yeah, but that money's already last year and year before, and that's gone. Okay, so do we want to wait till tomorrow for the school committee?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay.
I'd like
Oh,
to-
wait a minute,
I'd like to
there's a
discuss.
motion to approve.
Okay, discussion then?
Yeah.
My suggestion, in spite of this motion, would be to talk about it a little bit, just to make sure we understand access to the field. I mean, I think one of the great things we have about these turf fields is they have access for people to use at off hours when there's not scheduled sporting, when there's pickup soccer, people walking at the track when it's finished at the high school. You go to these places, an awful lot of people out and about using them. I hear fences, I agree, I don't want people riding bikes across as a direct path, but I also want to make sure that means that there's still access for people to
That's
go
legit.
play sports.
Why don't we wait till tomorrow?
How else are they going to use the field, though, without access?
Well, that's the point. I want to make sure they're not putting a gate up around this thing and locking it all, at all hours.
So you're saying you don't like BB guns? Is that what you're saying?
No BB guns, no attack dogs.
Just want to understand what the fencing
You
means.
realize the tennis courts at the high school are locked.
Just a point of order, it's 9:30, we're about three-quarters of the way through the articles. What are your plans for this?
Go through 3 more articles and call it a night.
Okay.
We're down to 38. Yeah, we're going to, 37, we're going to wait. Yeah, Andy, we're just so close.
Okay.
38, replenish injury on-duty fund.
Yeah, this is, as you know, the fund we pay the medical and other expenses for police and fire injured on duty.
How much?
250.
Move favorable, 250.
Second.
Bobby seconded,
It's announced-
Jerry made the
it's announced
motion.
price going in.
Any discussion?
It's a normal fulfillment of this.
People defending us get hurt. We have to pay for their
Exactly.
injuries.
It's a normal fulfillment.
I can make it sound a lot more elegant.
Predict also.
How unreasonable.
All in favor? Any opposed? Nope, sold. Labor negotiations.
Yeah,
We
this-
hire outside counsel
We
to
do for our
represent
labor.
us
Yes.
in
Yep.
labor negotiations. It's $160,000 estimated for the coming year.
Years.
Well, no, that should be more than 1 year.
Yes.
We had a number of contracts come up simultaneously this year. As you remember, with COVID, we did a few one-year deals, which required a lot of contracts to come up at the same time. So that's why we need to now supplement it.
Is that for 2 years then, you think?
Probably
I would hope more than that.
2 to 3 years.
We're not solving all those unions in 2 years.
This is a supplement to our two.
Now they'll be a little more
in-house.
staggered.
Jerry and Brian don't do the negotiations. This is to hire somebody.
I was listening to Mr. Valani, and he says this is $160,000 supplement to what's.
Yeah, Jerry, there's
already money in there.
in that account right now. Yeah.
We've always funded that account all the time.
Yeah.
Move favorable. Second.
Jerry and Vincenzo.
I just want a clarification of that.
That's okay.
All in favor? Any opposed? No? Okay. Rick wants new carpets. We're looking for an ask of $220,000.
This replaces
Town hall carpets.
all of the carpets here in Town Hall, the ones we're sitting in, our office space, the stair treads on all three of the staircases. I mean, you can see them. I think they're old, they're worn. I get a lot of complaints for whatever reason on the carpets. So I think it's been on the plan. And again, includes all the common area offices, stairways.
I'll make a motion to go.
220,000?
Correct.
I'll second it.
Vincenzo and Jerry.
Does it do all the stairs to get up to upstairs too?
We're going to do all the treads.
My point is, from that front door all the way up?
All the treads, all.
Our side ones?
Even this one right
That's
here.
my point, is that one I sneak up in
Yes,
to get up to Upper Town Hall?
Now it'll be much easier for
In
you.
the front of the town hall, always.
All the stairway.
That's all I wanted to know, Ricky, I knew.
That's a question on that real quick. You're talking about carpet tiles?
Well, actually, it's more like vinyl planks, that not this kind of carpet. One, they're easier to clean, so it's easier for maintenance. And two, if sections get worn or whatever, you'd be able to replace
Tiles,
a
so
section.
If you ruin a piece of the carpet, you can pull up individual tiles and replace them.
Well, I recall that since we have the library group here, you had tiles, carpet tiles, and you ran into problems with not being able to replace those, right?
These will be. These are more,
It's a different animal.
yeah, these are
Okay.
more what they call vinyl planks. more
Yeah, I heard you say vinyl,
Yeah.
so that did change the thing.
42,
That's
yes.
an additional.
But still, if you come back 5 years later, are you going to be able to
Oh,
get
no, we're doing that right now.
replacement matching?
Yes, that's what we believe. yes.
Okay.
Again, we will go out to bid, obviously, on it, too.
All in favor?
He's gonna wobble.
Any opposed? Okay, we're almost there. We have a firehouse
No,
on
that was
Purchase
it.
Street.
No, that was actually
one.
it.
Yeah, this is
That was
one,
it.
I will admit to you, it's not on the plan. As you remember, everybody, well, most people, I'm guessing, are familiar with the old fire station up on Purchase Street. Goes way back to the, I think, the late 1800s.
Is that the one behind Brian Murray's office?
No.
No.
Purchase Street, way up on Purchase Street on the right.
This is almost in Hopkinton.
On Camp Street, roughly.
Kind of, yeah. Basically, the fire department was using it, storing things in there. Maintenance now, just recently, is starting to store some things in there, so they were in there. I don't know if you have on the drive, but I did put some pictures. You can see, we really just need to button it up at this point, mainly roof, flooring, siding, side shingles, and what have you. It is in rough shape. We are getting use out of it. It does have historical significance. So I wanted to put it on for your consideration, for town meeting consideration. 30,000.
Move favorable.
Yeah,
Thank
second.
you.
Okay. One last one, and we're done for the night.
Can we get to vote on that one?
All in favor?
That's 4. We might as well finish now. That was 44.
You sound like me with my kids. You just weed that one last bed. You'll be all set.
I made a motion.
Jerry made it,
For
David
$30,000.
seconded.
Let's go home.
Allison, you said 3, we gave you 4. I'm making a motion to adjourn.
I'm seconding the motion.
That is not debatable.
Motion to adjourn is not debatable. All in favor to adjourn? We'll take up again tomorrow night.
Same time, same place.
The only reason some of these
Andy,
articles,
second by Jerry.
3 or 4 that we're not
Really, one more.
taking up is that people weren't available.
Stabilization.